Chapter 342. Okay. Xiao Chen had the same intention. Let's go. If we win, are there any rewards? Of course, there are two big shots representing the righteous sects and the demon sect. They will take out some good things to bet. When the time comes, whoever wins will get the spoils of war, and the rewards will be given according to the contribution. Yi Xiaoya said, if there are no accidents, if the demon sect wins, we should all get some rewards. I can give all of mine to you. Are you so rich? Xiao Chen found that Yi Xiaoya seemed to be very rich. It's okay. I'm a little better than you. Seeing that you are so poor, you take on all kinds of missions, so I will help you. Yi Xiaoya said. Xiao Chen found that Yi Xiaoya was really a good person. Although she came from the demon sect, her character was first class. Whether it was to Xiao Chen or to her comrade in arms, White Fox, she was very good. In Songning City, the bigger place to compete was the Jing family's martial arts hall. However, the tragedy was that although the Jing family's martial arts hall was borrowed, no one from the Jing family was qualified to participate in the Righteous Demonic Summit. This was also what Yi Xiaoya said to Xiao Chen on the way, but in Xiao Chen's opinion, it was not bad. After all, the strength of the Jing family was far worse than these demon sect and righteous sect disciples. They would be beaten up if they went up. The largest headquarters of the Jing family dojo was located not far from No. 2 High School. This was also the reason why Jing Xiaokuan studied in No. 2 High School. The two of them walked for about half an hour and arrived in front of a magnificent building. This was a huge antique building. The golden glazed tiles shone dazzlingly under the setting sun. High walls, heavy iron gates, and a huge plaque hung high above the main entrance. On it were three particularly eye-catching characters written in flamboyant calligraphy, Jingjia Village. The style of this place undoubtedly revealed an ancient martial arts aura and style. It was quite similar to the gathering points of those heroes on television. Holding the righteous and demonic summits here should be similar to the ancient martial arts circle assembly. At the entrance of Jingjia Village, there were already many martial artists who looked like heroes. It was unknown whether they were here to watch the fun or to participate in the summit. However, at the entrance of the Lu residence, there were two cultivators who seemed to be the staff of the summit. They were verifying the identity of every person who entered the Jing residence. Xiao Chen and Yi Xiaoya walked over together, only to find that the thing they were checking was an invitation. Only those who had an invitation, which was similar to a ticket, were allowed to enter. Other people were stopped. Do you have an invitation? Xiao Chen turned around and asked Yi Xiaoya. He didn't have such an invitation. Why do I need an invitation? Yi Xiaoya asked. Without an invitation, how are we going to enter? Xiao Chen pointed to the two guards not far away and said. That's for those low-level martial artists and ordinary people. Do I need an invitation? Yi Xiaoya said disdainfully. Please show me your invitation. A person who was about to enter the martial arts hall was stopped by the two guards and said coldly. I'm from the Jing family martial arts hall. Do I still need an invitation? Xiao Chen actually knew the person who was stopped, and he was quite familiar with him. It was Jing Xiaokuan. Someone from the Jing family martial arts hall. This is the venue of the righteous and demonic summits. If you don't have an invitation, please leave, the guard said coldly. But, didn't we agree before that people from the Jing family can enter and watch as they please? Jing Xiaokuan was a little anxious. I'm really from the Jing family martial arts hall. I have an identification card, and I've also filed it with your managing elder. Didn't you hear that I asked you to leave? Do I need to say it a second time? Look at my lips, brother, scram. The guard outside glanced at Jing Xiaokuan contemptuously and said coldly. Jing Xiaokuan was so angry that his whole body was trembling. However, he knew that with his strength, it was impossible for him to do anything to the two guards. He could only take out his phone and plan to contact them according to the contact information given to him by the organizer's managing elder. Motherf *Ker, get out of the way, don't block the door. Don't you understand human language? The guard outside slapped Jing Xiaokuan's face. Not only did he slap Jing Xiaoquan's phone, but he also spun several times on the ground like a spinning top before he fell to the ground with blood flowing from his ears. In fact, this was done on purpose by the guard. He didn't care if you were from the Jing family or not. So what if you were from the Jing family? You're just a weak, unranked family in the secular world. You're already out of the 9 families. What can you do? You still dare to complain? Isn't that courting death? The reason why he stopped Jing Xiaoquan was because not far away, there were 2 black ticket dealers run by the 2 guards. They wanted to enter the door and buy black tickets so that the 2 brothers could take the opportunity to make a fortune. Previously, the 2 of them stopped a few people who originally had invitations but were obviously a little weak. They said that their invitations were fake. They had no choice but to beg with kind words. Under the guidance of the kind-hearted person, they bought black tickets and entered. However, Jing Xiaoquan didn't listen to them and even dared to make a phone call to complain. Would the guard let him go? Are you sure you're speaking human language? Where did this dog come from? What are you barking for? The guard was smugly looking at Jing Xiaoquan with a smug smile. He didn't expect a sneer to ring in his ear, giving him a fright. Who the F***ck is scolding me? Do you want to die? The guard turned around, but what greeted him was a slap. Bang! The guard flew out from the slap and fell on the ground not far away. Blood flowed from his orifices. Even if he didn't die, he would probably be a cripple. You. Who are you? The other guard was dumbfounded and looked at Xiao Chen in horror. Xiao Chen's slap just now had at least the inner force level of a 4th or 5th stage martial artist. And they, the guards, only had the inner force level of a 3rd stage. What does it have to do with you? Xiao Chen looked at him coldly. No. It doesn't matter. The guard took a deep breath and said carefully, "Young hero, please." He couldn't beat Xiao Chen, and Xiao Chen didn't seem to have a good temper. There was no need for him to stand up for another person and offend Xiao Chen. Moreover, the person Xiao Chen beat was a representative of a famous sect, and he was a representative of a devil sect. The 2 of them were not on the same side. Now they were only temporarily cooperating to sell black tickets. After the summit was over, there would be no relationship between them. Xiao Chen nodded and was about to go in with Yi Xiaoya. He didn't go to see Jing Xiaoquan again because it was not appropriate for him to contact Jing Xiaoquan with his current identity, and Jing Xiaoquan didn't know him. The reason why he helped Jing Xiaoquan was that Jing Xiaoquan also stood up for him when he first arrived at second high school. Although most of it was for Tang Tang's sake, no matter what, Xiao Chen was still grateful. These people who helped him, Xiao Chen remembered them in his heart. Moreover, he also didn't like the guard. You want to leave after beating up a member of the Ouyang family of Jinwu? How dare you? A sneer came from behind Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen and Yi Xiaoya stopped and turned to look at the person. They saw a young man in his 20s with an arrogant face. He was pointing at Xiao Chen at the moment. Ouyang family? Xiao Chen was slightly stunned. It couldn't be such a coincidence, could it? This person was from the Ouyang family? Yes, judging from your strength, you should be a warrior who came to participate in the summit. Which faction are you from? Tell me your name. This person was Ouyang Tang, who was mentioned by Zhu Yingxiong. He glanced at the masked Xiao Chen and said, "You are afraid of everything and wear a mask. Does it make you look different? Or do you have no face to see others?" Devil Star Sect. Yi Xiaoya looked at Xiao Chen with some annoyance. She didn't expect this guy to cause trouble as soon as he came. Was it necessary? It seemed that this guy was quite kind-hearted. Did he help when he saw injustice? What did the Jing family martial arts dojo's people getting beaten up have to do with him? Although you beat up a small fry, you represented the demonic alliance and the society of famous families. Now, they came looking for you, right? The Jinwu family was one of the leading families in this summit, and the Ouyang family was one of them. Yi Xiaoya had no choice but to report her sect. If Xiao Chen said that he was a rogue cultivator, wouldn't he be retaliated on the spot? Devil Star Sect? Ouyang Tang's expression changed slightly. He then said hatefully, "Good, very good. If you have the ability, let's see who's better in the competition." Devil Star Sect was not a weak sect in the Devil Sect. Ouyang Tang naturally knew that. Since the other party also had a background and was originally hostile to the Society of Famous Families, he was not in a hurry to take revenge. After all, it would be more fun to step on people in the arena. "Brother Ouyang Tang, what's wrong with you? Are you flustered and exasperated? Why are you fighting before the competition has even started? You really have a fiery temper." The person who spoke was a thin man with a gloomy face. This person was Li Shaning from the colorful Li family. He and Ouyang Tang knew each other. Both of their families were main members of the Society of Famous Families, so they had come to participate in this righteous devil summit. "Oh. So it's Brother Ing. F***ck, a disciple of the demonic alliance injured my family's staff." Ouyang Tang said angrily. "Hee, it's okay. Brother Ing will help you vent your anger." Li Shaning had come with the purpose of befriending Ouyang Tang. In the past, he was the second young master, so he could not openly interact with the other disciples of the Zhenwu family. However, it was different now. He was the heir of the family. For the sake of his connections in the future, he had to make these friends. He was now very powerful. The first thing he wanted was to level up while he was staying in the hotel for a few days. He was now a stage 7 inner force expert, so he felt good about himself. He felt invincible. Among the righteous and demon sects, inner force stage 7 was already a well-known existence. He couldn't say who he wanted to kill, but it was easy and pleasant to kill a few demon sect disciples. Otherwise, he wouldn't have boasted so much. Chapter 343. Thank you so much, Brother Ing. Ouyang Tang was overjoyed and nodded gratefully. This was because he was not sure of Xiao Chen's strength. Naturally, he was more than happy to have someone to do it for him. He had said those harsh words to Xiao Chen just to save face for the Ouyang clan. But now, he had a way out of this embarrassing situation. He said, "This person is really infuriating. He really knows how to act tough." But when he met Brother Ing, his acting has reached its limit. "Brother Ing, you have the strength of stage 6 inner force now, right?" Hee. Li Shaning smiled faintly and said proudly, "I am now a stage 7 inner force martial artist." "What? Stage 7 inner force?" Ouyang Tang's eyes widened. One had to know that a stage 7 inner force martial artist was a top-notch existence in the Zhenwu family. In this summit, he was also a genius existence and was destined to shine. "Well, I just broke through." Li Shaning nodded. Although Xiao Chen had turned around, he had seen Li Shaning from the corner of his eye. He did not expect Li Shaning to join in the fun. Moreover, according to Li Shaning, this guy was actually a martial artist. Wasn't he too good at enduring? This was even better than Chao Yuliang's endurance. His eyeballs were about to explode, but he still endured it. He was really a **king ruthless person. Yi Xiaoya and Yi Xiaoya entered the courtyard of the Zheng family's martial arts dojo. In the courtyard, someone was registering people's identities. The two walked over. Yi Xiaoya had previously said that Xiao Chen was from the demonic star sect, so she could not change her words now. Therefore, she said, "Demonic star sect disciple Yi Bia and demonic star sect disciple Bai Hu, here to register. This is your summit qualification card. Please wear it on your chest. There are rules and regulations on the back. Take a look." The person in charge of registration was a man in his 40s. At a glance, one could tell that his strength was extraordinary. He looked cold and expressionless. "Okay, Elder Kun Tian." Yi Xiaoya obviously knew this person. She took the summit qualification card, handed one to Xiao Chen, and then said respectfully, "Do you know him?" After the two of them left, Xiao Chen asked. He was not clear about the rules here. Yes, he is a resident elder of the Demon Alliance. His strength is superb, don't provoke him. Yi Xiaoye reminded. He didn't provoke me, so why would I provoke him? Xiao Chen nodded. Where are we going next? This qualification card is the general card here. There are room numbers on it. We can go to the room to rest, or we can casually walk around here. But there is one thing you have to remember. In here, do not easily conflict with others. If there is a conflict, both sides can use the form of a battle, unless one side directly kneels down and admits defeat and gives up the qualifications to the summit. Otherwise, we will have to compete. Yi Xiaoye said to Xiao Chen, if you admit defeat, you're not representing yourself but your faction. If you quit, the Demon Alliance will deduct 10 points. Therefore, not only will you be hated by the orthodox sects, but you'll also be despised by the Demon Alliance. Maybe someone will come after you after this. But if you lose, then no one will say anything about you. Oh, what if the two sides of the conflict are from the same faction? Xiao Chen asked. That would be a private matter. Whether you admit defeat or fight, you won't lose any points, but you won't lose any lives. Yi Xiaoye said. So barbaric and terrifying. Xiao Chen said. The rules of this summit were too messy. It was just like the red name map in the game, anyone could PK at will. There are still rules here. When you walk the pugilistic world, you will know what rules are. Yi Xiaoye said indifferently, at that time, the rules will be your fist. Xiao Chen nodded. Yi Xiaoye had taught him a lesson today. It seemed that the matters of martial artists were filled with cruelty. He could not come into contact with it previously, but now that he had come into contact with it, he had not fully adapted to it. Although Xiao Chen was already considered a relatively ruthless person to his enemies, he was not to the point where he would kill without a word. However, looking at these martial artists, it seemed that this was the case. So if you have the strength, try to save it for the competition at the summit. Don't talk nonsense before that. Yi Xiaoye reminded him, also, you are now representing our demonic star sect. Don't cause trouble for the demonic star sect, oh. Xiao Chen nodded. He was just here to be a bystander. He would do whatever Yi Xiaoye asked him to do. Ah, isn't this junior sister Yi? Just as Yi Xiaoye was planning to go to the room to rest according to the instructions on the qualification card, a voice sounded. Yi Xiaoye was afraid that Xiao Chen would cause trouble, so she did not plan to bring him around. She only planned to keep him in the room and wait for the registration to end before going to the venue directly. She did not expect to meet an acquaintance at the door of the room. It's senior brother Lang. Yi Xiaoye saw the appearance of the person and nodded at him, but she was not as enthusiastic as the other party. Junior sister Yi, I knew that your demonic star sect would definitely let you come this time. The person beside you is. Why is he still wearing a mask? Lin Youxiang looked at Xiao Chen with an unfriendly expression. Although Xiao Chen was wearing a mask, his masculine features were quite obvious. He was Yi Xiaoye's pursuer, so he was especially concerned about the men around Yi Xiaoye. Oh, it's my junior brother, senior brother Lang. If there's nothing else, we will go back to the room to rest. See you later. Yi Xiaoye nodded at him, obviously not willing to talk much. You are staying in the same room? Lin Youxiang was stunned, and then his expression became very ugly. People of the martial arts world do not bother about trifles. Besides, it's just a temporary break. This is my junior brother, what can he do to me? I want to rest, please go back. Yi Xiaoye looked at Lin Youxiang indifferently, and her tone was a little impatient. She swiped the qualification card, and the door opened. Yi Xiaoye went in first. Xiao Chen followed behind. Lin Youxiang also wanted to go in, but in the end, Xiao Chen blocked the door and said coldly, "This is our room, I hope you don't go in." You. Lin Youxiang did not think that Yi Xiaoye's junior brother would actually dare to block him, and immediately became angry. Do you know who I am? You are just a small demonic star sect disciple, and you dare to block me? Senior sister asked you to go back, Xiao Chen said. Move. Lin Youxiang stretched out his hand, and a huge cold demonic chi enveloped Xiaochen. Xiaochen couldn't help but be shocked. A demonic cultivator at the peak of the 8th level of inner strength. Of course, the other party did not use his full strength, he just wanted to teach Xiaochen a lesson. However, Xiaochen stood on the spot, not moving at all. Although he did not move, it was very uncomfortable. The cold demonic chi directly flowed from his shoulder to his whole body, causing Xiaochen to involuntarily shiver. Motherf asterisk Ker. Previously, Xiaochen's body had a demonic chi, and now there was a demonic chi. Xiaochen really did not know what to say. However, at this moment, Xiaochen finally understood what Yi Xiaoya said. In this place, there were too many people who would fight over a disagreement. This place was different from the secular world. This was the world of martial artists, and the world of martial artists had to follow the rules of martial artists. The power of speech between martial artists was determined by strength. Not bad, huh? Although Leng Youxiang only used half of his strength, he did not expect Xiaochen to be able to withstand it. He coldly looked at Xiaochen and said, "Not bad, no wonder your sect valued you and sent you and your senior sister here. However, you better listen to me, you better not have any ideas about Yi Bia. She is my woman, and among the younger generation, only I, Leng Youxiang, am worthy of her." "Oh, what does this have to do with me?" Xiaochen remembered Leng Youxiang's name and casually pushed him twice. "Okay, you can go out, I'm going to close the door." "Heh, very good, your strength is not weak, but you are very good at pretending. You have obviously been hit by my cold enrich, yet you still pretend that nothing happened. Hee, I hope you have a good dream tonight." Leng Youxiang did not continue to attack. Since his attack was ineffective, he did not want to make another move. In his opinion, Xiaochen was just a small fry, and he had punished him enough. This fellow had pretentiously received his cold enrich, so he reckoned that he would have to suffer the pain of cold entering his body every night. If he could not endure it, he would basically die. In Leng Youxiang's eyes, although Xiaochen was from the demonic star sect, so what? He was just an ordinary disciple, so the demonic star sect would definitely not do anything to him because of this matter. Leng Youxiang was a genius of the younger generation in the demonic star sect. At such a young age, he already possessed the strength of a demonic cultivator at the peak of the 8th level. This meant that he was destined to become a high-level existence in the demonic star sect in the future. After Leng Youxiang left and Xiaochen closed the door, Yi Xiaoya hurriedly asked, "Are you all right? What could be wrong with me?" Xiaochen asked curiously. "His cold enrich is extremely overbearing. When the cold devil chi entered your body, did you feel anything strange? Why aren't you frozen into an ice sculpture?" Yi Xiaoya looked at Xiaochen, who looked as if nothing had happened. "Do you want me to freeze into an ice sculpture?" Xiaochen said impatiently. When the cold devil chi had first entered Xiaochen's body, it had indeed caused Xiaochen to shiver. However, it had only lasted for a moment, so Xiaochen really did not feel anything strange at the moment. Gosh! Yi Xiaoya was speechless after hearing this. However, when she thought about it, this white fox was somewhat strange. For example, when it was fighting with the demonic cultivator, its body had been invaded by the demonic aura, but it did not have any adverse effects. Thinking of this, Yi Xiaoya calmed down. Otherwise, if he was harmed by Leng Youxiang because of her, Yi Xiaoya would definitely not be able to live with her conscience. Now that the white fox was fine, apart from feeling a little strange, she was also relieved. As long as it was fine, it was fine. Therefore, she said, "All right, then let's rest for a while. We will officially attend the summit tonight." Chapter 344. However, Yi Xiaoya was still worried. "Are you sure you're all right?" After all, Xiaochen had the demonic aura enter his body because of her. Others might not know, but Yi Xiaoya knew very well that the Wrath of the Frost was known as one of the top 10 divine techniques of the demonic sect. Even if he was lucky enough to not die, it would act up every quarter to midnight. The pain was unbearable, and his internal organs would feel as if they were placed in ice. It was extremely uncomfortable. Under such circumstances, there was no way to resolve the wrath of the Frostine. There were many types of demonic auras in the demonic sect. Although they looked similar, they were actually very different. Therefore, Yi Xiaoye could not do anything about it. At that time, Xiaochen would be in so much pain that he wished he was dead. The only way to resolve it was for Lang Youxiang to resolve it himself, or for someone whose strength was higher than Lang Youxiang's level of martial arts to be able to resolve it slowly. However, Lang Youxiang was a demonic cultivator at the peak of Stage 8 inner force. No matter how powerful Xiaochen was, he was only at the peak of Stage 6 inner force. She did not know that he was already at the peak of Stage 7 inner force. Xiaochen was standing up for her. If Xiaochen really lived in pain every day, then Yi Xiaoye would blame herself to death. Do you want something to happen to me? Xiaochen looked at Yi Xiaoye with a bitter smile. He did not know whether to laugh or cry. You've asked this many times, but I don't think there's any problem for now. Who is that guy? What big move did he use? Do you know it? That's not it. I'm just worried that something will happen to you. Yi Xiaoye said, although he belongs to the demonic alliance, we are not from the same sect, so I don't know his moves. However, if you want a martial arts mental cultivation method, I should be able to help you find it. However, if you want to cultivate and resolve it yourself, it's almost harder than ascending to heaven. Demonic cultivators are more focused on physique than martial cultivators. Everyone's physique is different, so the demonic mental cultivation method and martial arts that they can cultivate are different. For example, I am a fire-type demonic cultivator, but Lang Youxiang is an ice-type demonic cultivator. How is his sect compared to your Devil Star sect? Xiaochen nodded and asked. The Devil Star sect is considered a relatively small sect in the Devil sect. However, many of the Devil sect saintesses have been produced in the Devil Star sect. Therefore, although the Devil Star sect is small, once a saintess appears, our Devil Star sect will become famous for a time. Yi Xiaoye said, but Lang Youxiang's sect is relatively big, he is also the sect's main target of nurturing. This time he came here to gain experience. To have such strength at the age of 30 is indeed not easy. Oh, so that's how it is. Xiaochen nodded and suddenly said, what? 30 years old? He's only at the peak of Stage 8 inner force at such an old age? Is he really a target to be nurtured? The best? The peak of the 8th layer. Do you even know what level that is? Yi Xiaoye's eyes widened. I know, he's just one level higher than me. Wait for me to surpass him in half a month. He actually dared to inject demonic energy into my body. I'll remember him. I'll teach him a lesson in the future. Xiaochen was very vengeful. You are now at Stage 7 inner force? Yi Xiaoye was stunned. Wasn't he still at the peak of Stage 6 inner force a few days ago? The peak of Stage 7 inner force, Xiaochen said. Yi Xiaoye almost broke down after hearing this. She had been in seclusion for so long to reach Stage 5 inner force demonic cultivator. Even so, at her age, she was already considered an outstanding existence. She was the most promising candidate to become the Devil Sect Saintess. Of course, at this moment, she was only a candidate. The Devil Sect still had to go through a series of complicated references and calculations before they could produce the next Devil Sect Saintess. Did you eat pills? Yi Xiaoye really couldn't understand. She had been cultivating hard enough, but how did Xiaochen cultivate? She remembered that this guy ran around outside every day, right? He fought old Devil Shishan and accepted a mission. White Fox, why is your leveling up like taking an elevator? Yes, I'm the legendary big idiot, Xiaochen said. What do you mean? Yi Xiaoye was stunned. Didn't you go to the Warrior Guild Forum? There's a group of big idiots on the other side of the mountain and the sea. They're really awesome when they rob buildings. They level up by taking elevators. Xiaochen explained. You still have the mood to joke around. Even if you're at the peak of Stage 7, Lang Youxiang is a vengeful person. Although you can't make a move openly, you have to be careful of him harming you. Yi Xiaoye said to Xiao Chen. Aren't I considered a disciple of the Devil Star sect? The Devil Star sect is so awesome that they even have a saintess. What can he do to us? Xiao Chen was a little puzzled. No matter how he looked at it, the Devil Star sect didn't seem too awesome. The previous generation saintess was indeed a member of the Devil Star sect, but some problems occurred after that. I can't tell you the sect's secret. When Yi Xiaoye said this, she couldn't help but sigh slightly. So, the Devil Star sect status dropped a lot after that. Oh, I see. Xiao Chen didn't ask in detail. The grudges of other sects didn't have much to do with him. Then why is Leng Youxiang still pursuing you when you have the chance to become the Devil Star sect saintess? I thought the Devil Star sect saintess can't get married. Why do they have to maintain their virginity? You've watched too much television, haven't you? Yi Xiaoye rolled her eyes at Xiao Chen and said, who said that? The Devil Star sect saintess can get married, but she can only have one husband, the Devil Star sect master. And Leng Youxiang is one of the people who has the highest chance of becoming the next Devil Star sect master. However, that's a matter of decades later. It's hard to say if there will be any changes by then. Is that so? Xiao Chen didn't expect this guy to be a candidate for the Devil Star sect master. He said with some regret, but he might not have the chance. What do you mean? Yi Xiaoye was stunned. He met me. Xiao Chen said. You, what do you mean? Yi Xiaoye's cold face turned red as she stared at Xiao Chen. Yi Xiaoye's expression also stunned Xiao Chen, but he immediately understood what Yi Xiaoye was thinking. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. What I mean is that he provoked me, so he won't have the chance. When he becomes the sect master, he will be killed by me. It's not that he won't have the chance to pursue you. But it's almost the same. He won't have the chance if he dies. Oh. Yi Xiaoye snorted. I don't think you're that shallow. We're just partners. If you have any other thoughts, let's break up as soon as possible. Oh, I have a girlfriend. Xiao Chen said. Okay, then let's rest for a while. After saying that, Yi Xiaoye lay on the bed and started cultivating. Xiao Chen, on the other hand, was fine. He had no way of cultivating here. Right now, he mainly relied on medicinal herbs and spirit jades for his cultivation. Without these two things, the effects would be minimal. He might as well not waste his energy. After Leng Youxiang returned to his room, he said to a Devil Star sect disciple who was accompanying him, Junior Brother Chen, help me investigate the background of the little bastard wearing a fox mask beside Yi Bia and what he does in the Devil Star sect. Yes, Senior Brother Leng. Junior Brother Chen replied and left. But not long after, he appeared in Leng Youxiang's room again. Senior Brother Leng, I've investigated. The Devil Star sect only sent one disciple this time. It's sister-in-law Yi Bia. There's no one else? Senior Brother, did you make a mistake? Isn't he from the Devil Star sect? Damn, slut, how dare you lie to me? I don't know where you hooked up with that wild man. Leng Youxiang's eyes flashed with malevolence. He had always been an outstanding figure in the sect. The sect's resources were free for him to use, so he had long developed a domineering and arrogant personality. However, even though he was furious, but from what he could see, no matter what the background of that fox-masked man was, he would definitely die at 3:45 p.m. tonight. Very few people could survive the cold devil qi. Moreover, he wasn't afraid that Xiao Chen would do anything to Yi Xiaoye in advance. This was because his cold true qi could cause impotence. Although he was angry that Yi Xiaoye and Xiao Chen were in the same room, he observed that Yi Xiaoye was indeed a virgin, so he didn't say anything more. Now that the person wearing the fox mask had become a cripple, there was nothing he could do. Leng Youxiang snorted coldly. No matter which sect you are from, you will definitely die if you offend me, Leng Youxiang. Leng Youxiang had this confidence. This was because in this summit, he was the only important male junior of the Devil sect. The other competitors for the position of sect leader didn't appear, so he could do whatever he wanted. Even if he killed Xiao Chen, it wouldn't matter. Senior brother Lang, should I investigate again? Junior brother Chen asked carefully. There's no need. Let him live a little longer. Leng Youxiang waved his hand indifferently. At 7 p.m., the Righteous and Demonic Songming Summit officially opened. All the disciples of the Devil's Sect gathered in the training field of the Zheng Family Martial Arts Dojo. The challengers of the summit sat at the front, while the audience sat at the back. The entire training field was filled with people. Xiao Chen and Yi Xiaoye found a seat marked with the Devil Star Sect's name and sat down. Originally, Xiao Chen wanted to see how Jing Xiaokuan was doing, but there were too many people here, so he couldn't find him in a short time. Although he could release his divine sense to search, it consumed a lot of physical strength and true qi. Xiao Chen couldn't release it endlessly, or he would die of exhaustion. Leng Youxiang brought junior brother Chen into the arena. Their seats weren't too far from Xiao Chen's side. Leng Youxiang deliberately glanced at Xiao Chen with a cold gaze, as if he was looking at a dead person. Xiao Chen was expressionless. His mask didn't have any expression to begin with. In the audience seats, a youth sat. Beside him was a beautiful girl. The beautiful girl's expression was a little cold, but the youth was very satisfied. He enjoyed this feeling very much. Xiao, there are so many aristocratic families in Songning City, but only the Qing family and a few other aristocratic families are qualified to watch this flourishing summit. Qing Mengxiang laughed and said proudly to the beautiful girl beside him. Oh. That's quite impressive. Although Xiao said so, her expression was as cold as usual. If the Qing family is so powerful, why don't they go on stage to participate in the challenge? Why are they still in the audience? Chapter 345. Ahem. Qing Mengxiang's expression froze, and he couldn't help but say, Xiao, those who can participate in the challenge are either from the real martial family or from some sections. The Qing family is strong in Songning City, but we are not qualified to go on stage. This is how the world is. You will never truly understand what your upper-class circle is like. But, if you follow me, perhaps the Qing family will have a glorious day in my hands. Oh. Xiao nodded, that's good. Will our child be the next head of the Qing family? Definitely. Qing Mengxiang nodded. In fact, he would do the same without Xiao Zhao's question. After he ascended, he would confirm his and Xiao Zhao's son as the heir of the Qing family. In this way, it would be easier to integrate and annex the Xiao family, and outsiders wouldn't be able to say anything. Okay. Xiao didn't say anything more. She looked at the empty arena in the martial arts arena, thinking about something. Qiao Yuliang went to pick up Li Shanying, so he also got a ticket. Otherwise, with his identity, it would be impossible for him to have the opportunity to watch the summit. Previously, he and Li Shanying roughly discussed the way to kill Xiao Chen. Li Shanying was more inclined to let Qiao Yuliang invite Xiao Chen out, and then directly kill him. Although there might be some repercussions, after killing Xiao Chen, Li Shanying would run back to Colorful Province. The fact that he killed Qin Jinpeng couldn't be hidden forever. He didn't know if it would be dug out in the future, so he didn't care about it. Anyway, when he returned to Colorful Province, he would never come here again. Even if there was a scapegoat, it would be Qiao Yuliang. But he believed that Qiao Yuliang could handle the aftermath. Li Shanying's suggestion shocked Qiao Yuliang. Li Shanying would do it himself? However, when he heard that Li Shanying was a martial artist with Inner Force Stage 7, he knew how powerful Li Shanying was. This guy was really good at enduring in the past. He was already at Stage 7 Inner Force. Wasn't it just a matter of time for him to get rid of Xiao Chen? Although it was very risky to kill Xiao Chen directly, Qiao Yuliang couldn't hold on any longer. Qing Mengxiang was pressing him too hard, and he had lost Qin Jinpeng's communication. He was really at his wit's end. Now, as long as he found a way to make an appointment with Xiao Chen, and Li Shanying would kill Xiao Chen, then everything would be fine. However, Chao Yuliang might suspect him afterwards, but Chao Yuliang was not a fool. He did not really want to cooperate with Li Shanying, but he wanted to use Li Shanying to kill Xiao Chen. When the time came, he would secretly record it. Once the matter was exposed, he would hand over the recording. At most, he could say that he did not help, but the responsibility would be on Li Shanying. He could say that he was forced to do so. At that time, he did not believe that Li Shanying would dare to come to Songning City to question him. Although Li Shanying's strength was superb, the warrior guild was not to be trifled with. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau would not let him go. If the Li family dared to question him for killing someone, that would be breaking the rules of the warrior level. As he was thinking, he suddenly saw that Qing Mingxiang was also here as a spectator. He was overjoyed and quickly walked over, wanting to show off to Qing Mingxiang, young Master Qing. However, when he got closer, Chao Yuliang realized that Qing Mingxiang was sitting next to him. His expression froze. When he saw Qing Mingxiang's dissatisfied gaze, he trembled in fear. "Brother Meng Chang, what a coincidence, you're here too." "And, my sister didn't come?" Qing Mingxiang glanced at Chao Yuliang and asked. "She didn't come. I'm here to send Li Shanying, young Master Li, otherwise, how would I be qualified to come here?" Chao Yuliang smiled and said, "All right, if there's nothing else, I'll leave first." "Meng Chang, you're busy. That day when I was drunk, I'm really sorry, I'm sorry." "It's nothing. My brother Chao knows that you drank too much." Qing Mingxiang waved his hand indifferently. "Then I won't affect your date, Meng Chang." Chao Yuliang turned around and left. He was so scared that he broke out in a cold sweat. Fortunately, he stopped himself in the nick of time and didn't say anything strange. Otherwise, if Xiao heard it, who knew if it would be spread to the Xiao family? He already knew about the marriage between Qing Mingxiang and Xiao, but for the marriage, the Xiao family's condition was to let Xiao Chen return. Although Xiao seemed to hate Xiao Chen, who knew if she could tell the Yi family? Therefore, Chao Yuliang could only pretend to be unfamiliar with Qing Mingxiang and chatted with Qing Mingxiang for a while. As for the sentence that he came with Li Shanying, it was to explain that he came through Li Shanying. Xiao shouldn't suspect Qing Mingxiang. After Chao Yuliang left, Qing Mingxiang secretly glanced at Xiao, but when he saw that Xiao didn't have any strange expression, he was relieved. "Chao Yuliang, this guy drank too much that day." "Xiao, you aren't angry, right?" Qing Mingxiang said. "No, what does it have to do with me?" Xiao said indifferently. "His relationship with me is not bad. It's good that you aren't angry. This matter is over. He is pursuing my sister, you know that." Qing Mingxiang breathed a sigh of relief. Although Xiao's temperament was a little cold, she was also indifferent to things. He was a little unsure if Xiao would be on the same side as him. If he could have the opportunity to take care of Xiao, it wouldn't be a big deal to let her know something about him, but not now. On the other side of the audience, Shen Zhenghao sat there with Shen Jingxian, and beside them stood Shen Jingmao. "Jingmao, with your strength, can you participate in the challenge?" Shen Jingmao insisted on participating in the righteous and demonic summit, and Shen Zhenghao couldn't help but be a little worried. "Dad, don't worry. With the guidance of second great-grandfather, I have now stepped into the 5th stage of inner force." Shen Jingmao said proudly. Indeed, at his age, the 5th stage of inner force was a very powerful existence. Shen Zhenghao was a little proud when talking about his son's strength. 5th stage of inner force was really amazing, but the Shen family still had other competitors with higher levels. Shen Jingmao came here to participate in the righteous and demonic summit. The cultivation resources were one of the rewards, and the most important thing was that if he could show his face in the righteous and demonic summit, it would also be a rich qualification for the future young master election. Ever since second great-grandfather's strength had improved, the Shen family focused on demonic cultivators, and martial cultivators were supplementary, because second great-grandfather was a demonic cultivator. When he was young, he was an in-name disciple of the demonic sect. Later, he came down the mountain and trained hard. he didn't expect that after so many years, he would have some small achievements. Therefore, the Shin family was also classified as demonic cultivators at the righteous and demonic summit. In fact, the Shin family was in the middle, but sometimes they couldn't have no stand, or else they wouldn't be able to participate in the summit. Jingmao, be careful. Shin Jingxian said, if the opponent is too strong, just admit defeat. There's nothing to be ashamed of, sister, you don't understand. You can only lose, you can't beg for mercy. Shin Jingmao said, I tried my best. If I lose, it's because I'm not strong enough, no one will laugh at me. But if I admit defeat, not only will I be looked down upon, but I will also implicate the Shin family. I won't be able to compete for the position of young master in the future. Shin Jingxian knew that it was useless for her to say anything. Now that things had reached this point, she couldn't stop it. Since her brother had embarked on this path, he had to fight for it. One had to know that the number of victories at the righteous and demonic summit would be recorded. It was a very important reference for the Jinwu family's ranking every year. Therefore, if Shin Jingmao won, it would be considered as a meritorious deed for the family. If he lost, his strength was not good enough, then it wouldn't reduce the family's ranking. But if he fled without a fight, then it would reduce his points. If he won, the benefits it would bring to the Shin family were obvious. It would become a strong capital for him to rise to the top. If he lost, there would be no loss. Okay, sister will cheer for you. Shin Jingxian shook Shin Jingmao's hand. The summit was about to begin. However, when the summit was about to officially begin, and the two representatives of the righteous and demonic sects had already walked onto the high platform of the martial arts arena, a young challenger girl arrived late. If it were anyone else, they would have been disqualified from participating. However, the two elders of the righteous and demonic sects pretended to turn a blind eye at the same time, as if they didn't see her. Why does this summit have to be held at night? Can't it be during the day? Seriously, it's affecting my business. The young girl mumbled discontentedly as she walked. Many people in the audience were stunned. No one had ever dared to speak like that during the summit. The two elders of the righteous and demonic sects were already standing on the high platform of the martial arts arena, yet someone still dared to speak like that. It was too miraculous. However, the two elders seemed to be blind and deaf. They pretended not to hear it. The young girl mumbled as she found her seat and sat down. Those who didn't know her identity saw the nameplate in front of her and came to a sudden realization. She wasn't pretending to be pretentious, but she really had the capital to look down on everyone. Xiao Chen's gaze was a little dull. This girl. Isn't she Hongzhu? Don't look, there's nothing to be surprised about. Yi Xiaoya saw that Xiao Chen kept staring at Hongzhu and thought that he was wondering why this person was so arrogant, so she explained, although she's also from the demonic sect, she's not here as a challenger, but as a referee elder. The little princess of the Hong Clan Chamber of Commerce is someone no one here can afford to offend. The little princess of the Hong Clan Chamber of Commerce? Xiao Chen was shocked. Although he had seen the nameplate in front of Hongzhu with the words, Hong Clan Chamber of Commerce, written on it, the words, Little Princess, really shocked him. That's right, but she has another identity. She's also a competitor for the demonic sect's Holy Maiden. I just don't know if she'll develop in the demonic sect or return to the Hong Clan Chamber of Commerce in the future. Yi Xiaoya said, she looks like an amiable girl, but she's actually very sinister. Don't ever provoke her, and don't even think of trying to curry favor with the rich and powerful. If you want to chase after her and climb up the ranks, you probably won't even know how you died. Oh. Xiao Chen felt that this information was a little too much. Hongzhu was the little princess of the Hong Clan Chamber of Commerce? Then who was her older sister, Hong Yan? Chapter 346. It looks like you really have that intention? Yi Xiaoya glared at Xiao Chen, because she saw that Xiao Chen was still staring fixedly in Hongzhu's direction. I already said that I have a girlfriend. Xiao Chen glanced at Yi Xiaoya and thought to himself, it was clearly Hongzhu who seduced me. However, did Hongzhu actually have such a powerful background? The little princess of the Hong merchant group? I wonder if it's the Hong merchant group of the secular world, or the entire Hong merchant group. I'm just reminding you to be careful. None of these devil sect disciples are to be trifled with, Yi Xiaoye reminded him. Why would I provoke them for no reason? Xiao Chen said. Oh right, what's the next procedure? Next is to draw lots. The members of the righteous and devil sects will draw lots and randomly challenge each other. However, at the same time as the random challenge, you can also issue a challenge. In other words, you can issue a challenge to anyone you don't like. However, you have to note that everyone only has one chance to issue a challenge. If they accept your challenge, they have the right to refuse another challenge. Yi Xiaoye explained, however, if they directly refuse the first challenge, it will be considered as admitting defeat, and 10 points will be deducted from them. If they accept the challenge and lose, no points will be deducted. And if the challenger loses, 10 points will be deducted. This is different from a random challenge. The loser of a random challenge will not have any points deducted, and the winner will have 10 points added. Only if one side directly admits defeat will the points be deducted. Xiao Chen nodded. He felt that this rule was similar to a chaotic fight. However, in reality, such a small-scale summit couldn't possibly have so many complicated rules. Firstly, there weren't that many referees, and secondly, the conditions of the venue and environment didn't allow for it. The Zheng family only had a martial arts arena, and no other professional testing grounds. I understand. Hongzhu, she's the little princess of the Hong merchant group? What do you mean? Xiao Chen asked without batting an eyelid. See, you still like her in the end, don't you? Yi Xiaoye glared at Xiao Chen and said, I already told you not to have any ideas about her, why didn't you listen? Do you want to die? I'm just a little curious. Xiao Chen couldn't help but smile bitterly. Does everyone know her identity? I don't know about that. Most of the people here know that she is a disciple of the Sky Fox sect and has the backing of the Hong Chamber of Commerce. But that's all. Don't tell anyone that she is the little princess of the Hong Chamber of Commerce. Yi Xiaoye reminded, it's because I'm also a candidate for the Saintess that I have the information of the other candidates. These are all confidential in the Demon Gate. Then why did you tell me? Xiao Chen asked. I'm afraid that you won't know what's good for you and cause trouble. He had just fought with Leng Youxiang. Who knew which big shot he would provoke next time? You have to be careful, maybe Leng Youxiang will challenge you. Yi Xiaoye said. Oh, whatever. Xiao Chen said it casually, but in fact, he was hesitating. He was equivalent to a warrior at the peak of the Inner Force Stage 7. But Leng Youxiang was a demon cultivator at the peak of the Inner Force Stage 8. There was a gap of a whole level between them. It was hard to say if Xiao Chen could defeat him. However, Xiao Chen's advantage was obvious. He had some special abilities that warriors didn't have. If he wants to challenge you, just admit defeat. Think of a way to get your 10 points back from someone else, then others won't say anything about you. Yi Xiaoye reminded him. Don't be stubborn. Leng Youxiang isn't someone to be trifled with. He doesn't only have one trump card, he hasn't used it yet. I know. Xiao Chen nodded. He definitely wouldn't admit defeat. If he admitted defeat as the White Fox swordsman, it was likely that the news would spread throughout Songning City. Then, his status would plummet. If that happened, the White Fox swordsman aura that Xiao Chen had painstakingly created would be destroyed. Xiao Chen had to challenge Leng Youxiang for the sake of his White Fox swordsman title. Otherwise, Shen Zhenghao's attitude toward him would not be the same as before, and he wouldn't support him and Shen Jingxian to be together. However, Xiao Chen finally realized that there was someone even more powerful than Hongzhu, who appeared after Hongzhu. Moreover, Xiao Chen also knew this person. It was Song Huawu. Song Huawu, I know her. Is she also late? Xiao Chen was a little speechless. Well, she's from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Her strength isn't that great, but her background is powerful, so there's nothing anyone can do about it. Yi Xiaoye said, she's also a referee, just like Hongzhu. However, I heard that her relationship with Hongzhu isn't very good. Oh. What about her and you? Xiao Chen asked. She's just like me. Yi Xiaoye said, the Supernatural Investigation Bureau doesn't have close contact with the people from the righteous sects and the demonic sections. They generally have a public attitude. When Song Huawu arrived, the two elders announced the official start of the Righteous and Demonic Songming Summit. However, there didn't seem to be any challenges today. The two elders expressed a series of long-winded sighs, talking about the grudges between the righteous and demonic sects. Today, the purpose of the Righteous and Demonic Songming Summit held here is to resolve the conflict between the righteous and demonic sects on a small scale. It will be resolved within a controllable range. In addition to the challenges by drawing lots, everyone can also arrange for a fight. However, after leaving this venue, I hope that everyone will abide by the agreement. Do not break your promise and force conflict with your opponents. Here, the representative of the Hong Chamber of Commerce, Hongzhu, and the representative of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, Song Huawu, are watching. If anyone breaks their promise and is discovered to have done so, the Hong Chamber of Commerce's trading rights will be permanently revoked. They will also be blacklisted by the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. At that time, you will have to bear the consequences. Elder Wang, who represented the righteous and demonic sects, said, "That's right. The grudge between the righteous and demonic sects has been going on for a long time. There are constant small conflicts between them. The purpose of this summit is to resolve the grudge. However, if you can resolve it in private, you don't have to attend this summit. Therefore, since you are here, you must abide by the rules." Elder Su, who represented the demonic sects, said, "All right, I won't say much. Everyone has a number on their qualification card. We will randomly select a pair of challengers based on the number. As for the challenge rules, I won't go into detail. Everyone here is an elite from their respective sects or famous experts in the underworld. You all understand. That's all for today. Everyone, take a rest. Tomorrow, you will rest during the day. At night, the summit will officially begin." Elder Wang nodded and said, "All right, the meeting is over." Elder Su said, "That's it?" Xiao Chen was stunned. He didn't expect to come here tonight and listen to the two elders' long-winded speech. There was no substantive content at all. Then what else do you want? Yi Xiaoye said, "Today, some of the challengers have just arrived. Their mental state isn't particularly good. How can they challenge? Then, can we leave now?" Xiao Chen asked. "Why leave? You still want to go back?" "Of course, we'll all stay here." Yi Xiaoye said matter-of-factly. "Huh? I'll stay in the same room as you?" Xiao Chen was stunned. "Nonsense. So what if you have other rooms? Why don't you stay in the same room as that Leng Youxiang?" Yi Xiaoye glared at Xiao Chen. "Are you thinking too much?" "No." Xiao Chen quickly shook his head. "Hey, I say, Xiao Yi, why do you always think that I have feelings for you? Don't tell me you have feelings for me. How is that possible?" Yi Xiaoye snorted. "I'm the demonic sex saintess candidate. Who do you think you are? Then don't think about those useless things. I'm just a little surprised. But don't worry, I won't do anything to you," Xiao Chen said. "Oh. I don't think you dare." Yi Xiaoye said, "If you sleep with me, the demonic star sect will send people to hunt you down. You scared me to death." Xiao Chen curled his lips. "When I take off my mask, who will know who I am? The blood in my body will fuse with your body at that time. At that time, they will be able to find you based on the information of the bloodline. It doesn't matter if you have a mask or not." Yi Xiaoye said, "Are you a demonic cultivator or not? Why don't you know anything? Are you like a newbie who just debuted?" "I didn't know anyway." "If I knew, I wouldn't ask you everything," Xiao Chen said straightforwardly. According to the rules, the two elders and the two referees left first. Then, the challengers left their seats. The two of them followed the others and walked out of the martial arts arena. Finally, the audience left. Although there were no challenges today, the audience was very satisfied. After all, this kind of atmosphere and the feeling of having so many experts was also a kind of qualification. Those who could come here to be the audience were also the best of the various aristocratic families. There were also relatively famous rogue cultivators and people with prestige in the business world. Little bastard, I'll be waiting for you tomorrow. I hope you won't admit defeat directly. That would be too boring. When Xiaochen walked out of the venue, he found that Leng Youxiang had not left. Instead, he was waiting at the door. He stuck out his middle finger at Xiaochen and made a vulgar gesture. Then, he turned around and left with his junior brother while laughing. The reason why he wanted to provoke Xiaochen was actually because he hoped that Xiaochen would accept the challenge. After all, it was impossible for them to be drawn together by drawing lots. No matter how random it was impossible for a demon sect disciple to go against a demon sect disciple. Then, the only thing left was the challenge. However, a demon sect disciple could completely reject the challenge. Then, Xiaochen would have 10 points deducted and Leng Youxiang would have 10 points added. The demon sect's total points would not change. Therefore, if Xiaochen admitted defeat, other than losing face, there would not be any loss to the demon sect. The demon sect would also not hold him responsible for anything. Leng Youxiang was afraid that Xiaochen would do that, so he provoked him in advance. Is there something wrong with this person's head? Xiaochen looked at Leng Youxiang's back and said, how old is he? Why is he acting like a child? Chapter 347. Xiaochen's words immediately attracted the laughter of the surrounding warriors. Who laughed? Leng Youxiang suddenly turned around and shouted, who is it? All right, let's meet in the arena tomorrow. Don't talk about these useless things. Xiaochen said indifferently. Let's wait and see. You have a sharp tongue. Leng Youxiang snorted coldly and turned to leave. His words once again attracted a burst of laughter from the crowd. After all, he was the one with the sharp tongue first, and now he was using it to criticize others. Xiaochen shook his head. This Leng Youxiang's intelligence didn't seem to be very high, but he could imagine it. He stayed in the sect all year round and didn't go out. Other than cultivating every day, he was also the kind of person who was spoiled and arrogant in the sect. It would be strange if he was mature. His personality was just that of an overbearing child. Xiaochen and Yi Xiaoya walked together to the door of the room. However, his back was suddenly patted by someone. This speed that came and went without a trace shocked him. He just sensed that someone was coming from behind, and in the end, he was hit. If this person wanted to sneak attack him, it would be really hard to guard against. But then again, in the rules of the summit, it also prohibited the challengers from sneak attacking each other. They could only challenge each other face to face or challenge each other in the arena. Sneak attacks were despised. Jingmao. When Xiaochen saw the person, his heart relaxed. It wasn't that he wasn't vigilant, but his subconscious automatically classified Shen Jingmao as an unguarded person. Therefore, even if he had divine perception, he wouldn't think that Shen Jingmao was a dangerous person. Big brother White Fox, why are you here? Shen Jingmao was a little surprised. He didn't expect to meet an acquaintance here, and it was his sister's boyfriend. This time, Shen Jingmao could also see that Shen Jingxian didn't particularly reject the relationship with White Fox. Therefore, Shen Jingmao didn't have any enmity towards White Fox. Anyway, the two of them would definitely be together in the future, so there was no need for Shen Jingmao to be cold and distant. I came to join in the fun. What about you? Are you here to participate in the challenge? Xiaochen was a little surprised. It seemed that Shen Jingmao was here to participate in the challenge, because ordinary spectators were not allowed to reach the accommodation area. They had to leave near the martial arts practice grounds. Yes, I'm here to participate on behalf of the Devil Alliance. Big brother White Fox, you're also from the Devil Alliance, right? Shen Jingmao asked excitedly. This feeling was like meeting an old friend in a foreign land. In the past, he had some hostility towards Xiao Chen, but now it was gone. He felt that Xiao Chen was one of his own. That's right. Xiao Chen nodded. I didn't expect the Shen family to be devil cultivators too. Yeah, big brother White Fox, I'll see you tomorrow. Shen Jingmao saw that there was a beautiful woman beside Xiao Chen. At a glance, he could tell that her strength wasn't ordinary. To be able to stand here, she belonged to the ranks of the challengers. Her inner strength was definitely not inferior to his, because the minimum requirement to participate in the challenge was the 5th level of inner strength. Therefore, Shen Jingmao tactfully did not continue to stay. However, he was a little sad in his heart. Sure enough, the White Fox swordsman had other women, and his sister had already been harmed by Qin Jinpeng once. Moreover, she was not a martial artist. The White Fox swordsman would not put her in a high position. However, Shen Jingmao certainly wouldn't say these words. He waved his hand at Xiao Chen and prepared to leave. Right, is your sister here? Xiao Chen suddenly asked. My sister is here. She's in the audience. She and father should have gone back. I'm a challenger, so I live here. Shen Jingmao said. Okay, then see you tomorrow. Xiao Chen nodded. It turned out that Shen Jingxian also came. He was a little excited, but in this way, it was even more impossible for him to admit defeat. Shen Zhenghao and Shen Jingxian were looking at him. If he admitted defeat, the reputation of White Fox would be completely ruined. See you tomorrow. Shen Jingmao suddenly felt a little happy. Hero White Fox asked about his sister's matter in front of the beautiful girl. It meant that he didn't intend to hide his relationship with his sister. That also meant that he really regarded his sister as his woman. This way, his sister wouldn't be in an awkward position in the future. She wouldn't be unable to lift her head in front of other women. Thinking of this, Shen Jingmao was relieved. He planned to go back and tell his sister the news. After entering the room with Yi Xiaoya asked, "Who is that person? Do you know him?" "He's my girlfriend's younger brother." Xiao Chen explained, "He is also the challenger this time." Oh. After Yi Xiaoya heard it, she didn't ask anymore. She just said, "Let's rest." This room was a standard room with 2 beds. Xiao Chen and Yi Xiaoya each took a bed and lay down. Since when did Xiao Chen sleep so early? Therefore, he simply didn't sleep at all. He was a little bored and played with his phone. After Shen Jingmao returned to his room, he called his sister, Shen Jingxian, and told her the good news. He thought that his sister would be happy. Shen Jingxian was indeed very happy, but after hanging up Shen Jingmao's phone call, she sent a text message to Xiao Chen, "Hey, I didn't disturb you, right?" Xiao Chen looked at Shen Jingshuan's text message and slapped his forehead. This Shen Jingmao, his mouth is really fast. But he replied, "She is my partner who usually does missions. I have nothing to do with her." What does it have to do with me? I'm just a second-hand woman beside Master White Fox. I should be happy. Shen Jingxian said. Although her brother didn't say so just now, he also hinted at it. Shen Jingmao was being kind, but it made Shen Jingxian angry directly. "Jingxian, are you jealous?" Xiao Chen didn't answer but asked directly. "No, I'm just joking. You also participated in the summit? Then you should be careful tomorrow. Help me take care of Jingmao." Shen Jingxian didn't continue to pester him. In fact, she was just a little jealous, but she also knew that she couldn't interfere with Xiao Chen's business. Xiao Chen was participating in the summit. How could she provoke the relationship between him and his partner? In fact, even if there was something, as long as this person wasn't someone around her and had no interaction with her, she could accept it. "I will, don't worry," Xiao Chen said. "And then I'm relieved. I was worried that Jing Mao would have a problem." Shen Jingxian let out a sigh of relief. She didn't know why, but she trusted Xiao Chen very much now. She felt that whatever Xiao Chen promised, he would be able to achieve. Your phone is beeping. Can't you adjust it to vibrate? So annoying. Yi Xiaoye turned over on the bed and stared at Xiao Chen. Yes. Xiao Chen turned his phone to silent mode, but Shin Jingxian didn't send any messages. She was probably afraid that Xiao Chen was busy. I'm thinking, if I knew you were so troublesome, I wouldn't have brought you here. Yi Xiaoye just thought about it. Xiao Chen provoked Leng Youxiang the moment he came. If they really fought tomorrow, she would have to clean up the mess for him. Damn, it's not your fault. That guy is your pursuer. Xiao Chen was speechless. Yeah, I'm just afraid that you will get beaten up. Yi Xiaoye said, forget it. I won't talk about it anymore. Go to sleep. You don't have dinner tonight? Xiao Chen thought she was just resting for a while. He didn't expect Yi Xiaoye to sleep directly. I won't eat. I won't be hungry when I sleep. Yi Xiaoye said. Then I'll go out and buy something to eat. Xiao Chen had a headache. He still had to tell the miss that he wouldn't go back tonight. You have to eat. Eat, 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 eat. Why are you so hungry? Will you die if you don't eat? Yi Xiaoye was helpless. She got up from the bed and said, let's go. I'll go with you. I'm afraid that you will fight with others. Hee, I don't like to cause trouble. Xiao Chen couldn't help but smile bitterly after listening. Actually, I'm hungry too. I was afraid that you would go out and cause trouble, so I came back to sleep directly. Since you insist, I'll go and eat too. Yi Xiaoye mumbled as she put on her shoes. She didn't take off her coat. After all, she was a girl. It was inconvenient for her to take off her clothes. The two went out of the room together. At this time, there were not many people outside. Most of the challengers had already gone out to eat, or they had already rested. Xiao Chen and Yi Xiaoye strolled all the way to the Zheng family's gate. They didn't encounter anyone who provoked them, which made Yi Xiaoye feel relieved. However, along the way, they saw Zheng Xiaokuan. Zheng Xiaokuan had a bruised nose and a swollen face, but he had already applied medicine. At this time, when he saw Xiao Chen, his eyes immediately lit up, and he ran over quickly. Young hero, thank you for your help before. I'm very grateful. No, it's nothing. Xiao Chen waved his hand and said, is there any delicious food nearby? Ah. Yes, there is. Young hero, and this heroine, let me treat you to a meal to express my gratitude. Don't refuse, otherwise, I don't know how to thank you. Zheng Xiaokuan said quickly. Xiao Chen didn't answer, but looked at Yi Xiaoye. He didn't know if she allowed outsiders to eat together. Oh, that's fine. You can find any nearby snack. It's fine as long as you can eat your fill. Fast food is the best. Yi Xiaoye said. She was afraid that she and Xiao Chen were unfamiliar with the place and people. What if they encountered trouble around here? Now that there was an acquaintance, they could find a restaurant to eat. After eating, they could go back to sleep. Okay. Both of you, please. Zheng Xiaokuan was a little excited. These high-level warriors were generally eccentric. They wouldn't deal with low-level families like them. Moreover, the Zheng family was getting worse and worse. It was no longer among the Songning 9 families. Zheng Xiaokuan wanted to develop his family. If he could make friends with some powerful people, it could be considered as a helping hand for the family. This time, the Zheng family took the initiative to hold the righteous and demonic Songning summit for free. In fact, the Zheng family wanted to make contact with these high-level warriors, leave a good impression, and then use this opportunity to develop. But obviously, these people didn't take the Zheng family seriously at all. In the eyes of these people, it was reasonable for the Zheng family to provide the venue. They had to provide it even if they didn't want to. Chapter 348. Asking you to provide is already giving you face. Do you dare not to provide? This mentality made the hot-blooded Jing family very hurt, but there was no other way. After Jing Xiaoquan was humiliated at the door, he also reported it to the summit working group through his father, Jing Yudao, but they didn't take it seriously at all. It's better to have strength. Jing Xiaoquan was a little envious of White Fox in front of him. He slapped the gatekeeper disciple to death, but he was still fine. This was strength. The car that Jing Xiaoquan drove was an Audi Q7. Jing Yudao deliberately let Jing Xiaoquan use this car. His purpose was to let Jing Xiaoquan get to know some big shots. But in fact, after Jing Xiaoquan was beaten up, Jing Yudao's heart turned cold. In his opinion, those experts didn't even bother to make friends with them. His thinking was too simple. In fact, these masters came from various sects and families. Who would have the time to make friends with the children of those small families? Wasn't that too boring? Seeing that White Fox was giving him face, Jing Xiaoquan was very happy. Young hero, heroine, please get in the car. Get in the car? Can't we just find a place to eat? Xiao Chen was slightly stunned. We still have to walk for a while. This place is closer. Jing Xiaoquan said quickly. All right, let's go. Xiao Chen had no choice but to nod. Yi Xiaoya didn't have any objections. She was thinking about how not to bump into others. Seeing that Xiao Chen and Yi Xiaoya were giving him face, Jing Xiaoquan was very happy. He got in the car and said, How do I address you two heroes? Thank you so much for the previous matter. He is White Fox, and I am Yi Bia. Yi Xiaoya didn't hide it. We are from the Devil Star sect. You don't have to do this. It's just a small effort. Then I will call you White Fox and Heroine Yi. Jing Xiaoquan said quickly. It's up to you. Xiao Chen said, What are the benefits of the Jing family summit this time? It's nothing much. At most, it will bring some fame to the Jing family. Jing Xiaoquan smiled bitterly as he drove. It's quite different from what I imagined. I thought that our Jing family, as the host, would be able to get to know some disciples from big families and big sects, but now, you think too much. Yi Xiaoya said bluntly, Only this guy is nosy. The others just treat you as ordinary people. It's only right that you provide the venue. Jing Xiaoquan blushed and said, Heroine Yi, you don't have to attack me like that. In fact, I understand. However, your people are really nice. They are actually disciples of the devil sect, but they are much better than those hypocrites from the righteous sects. You're a reasonable person. After Yi Xiaoya heard this, she was very happy. We, the devil sect, only cultivate a special mental cultivation method and act a little strange, so they say that we are bad people. In fact, there are too many hypocrites and villains in those righteous sections. As they spoke, the car stopped in front of a big restaurant. This was the best restaurant in the vicinity. It was called Tianxian Restaurant. The reason why they chose this place was that the Jing family had shares in this restaurant. The lobby manager obviously knew Jing Xiaoquan. As soon as he arrived, he warmly booked the most luxurious private room for him. Jing Xiaoquan respectfully invited Xiao Chen and Yi Xiaoya to the private room, then asked, What would you like to eat? Anything is fine. Xiao Chen waved his hand indifferently, and Yi Xiaoya was even more so. Therefore, Jing Xiaoquan personally went downstairs to order. However, after a while, Jing Xiaoquan did not return, but he saw the lobby manager rushing back. As soon as he entered the door, he said, You too, bad news. Young Master Kun has been detained. He is in the private room next door. He wants you to go and get him. Oh? Xiao Chen was slightly stunned. Jing Xiaoquan can't even handle these things in the secular world. Is he being detained? I have to go and get him back. Who detained him? Yi Xiaoya was also a little puzzled. How could Jing Xiaoquan be detained in the hotel? I don't know, but young Master Kun said that the other party knows him, and the other party also wants you to go. The lobby manager said. Okay, take me to see. No matter what, Xiao Chen couldn't ignore Jing Xiaoquan. This guy was his classmate. Yi Xiaoye felt that Xiao Chen was a little nosy, but she still followed. In the private room next door, Xiao Chen did not knock on the door. He directly kicked it, and the private room door immediately opened. Ouyang Tang was feeling good these days. He had just broken through to the 5th stage of inner force and was preparing to show his face at the righteous and demonic Songming Summit. The Ouyang family was also one of the top martial arts families in the province, so the family's disciples also entered the summit's working group. However, he didn't expect that he would be humiliated before he could even show off his power. His family's disciple was beaten half to death, and his own face was refuted. However, he was not stupid. He invited Li Shaning to the banquet today. Li Shaning was now a martial artist at the 7th stage of inner force. In his opinion, if Li Shaning were to make a move, White Fox would definitely die. Those who could attend the summit were at least at the 5th stage. Therefore, if Ouyang Tang made a move, it would be difficult for him to win. His main goal now was to please Li Shaning, and then everything would be fine. Ouyang Tang naturally chose the most luxurious restaurant nearby to treat. However, just as he was about to enter the private room, he saw Jing Xiaokuan, who had just returned from ordering. He took a closer look. Isn't this the culprit who caused the trouble previously? If it weren't for this kid, would White Fox and his own disciple have a conflict? Looking at his cheerful expression, Ouyang Tang guessed that this kid probably invited White Fox to the banquet. This was great. He didn't have to wait until tomorrow to deal with White Fox. Therefore, he directly detained Jing Xiaokuan and asked the waiter to inform the people in the private room to come and get him. What he didn't expect was that as soon as he sat down, a door plank flew in and directly smacked him on the head, causing him to see stars. Who? Who? Ouyang Tang shouted. Li Shaning, who was sitting on the seat, was also shocked. This time, Xiao Chen did not hold back his strength. The strength of the peak of the 7th stage of inner force was completely revealed. Xiao Chen wanted to end the battle quickly. If the other party was a martial artist, they would naturally not dare to act rashly after seeing his strength. If it was an ordinary person, just the door panel being kicked down would be enough to deter them. When Li Shaning saw the person who came, his expression became solemn. The peak of the 7th stage of inner force. He looked at Xiao Chen with some surprise. This person's strength was actually so high, even higher than his? So it's the two of you. What's the matter? Xiao Chen said indifferently. He didn't believe that Li Shaning would dare to attack him after seeing his strength. It would be better if he attacked him. With White Fox's identity, he wasn't afraid of getting into trouble, lest this guy kept trying to kill him. I really didn't expect White Fox to be a demonic cultivator at the peak of the 7th stage of inner force. Li Shaning waved his hand at Ouyang Tang, signaling him not to act rashly. Even he felt that this opponent was difficult to deal with. Nothing, I was just joking with you. Although Ouyang Tang was arrogant, he was not a fool. His face twitched. He knew what the peak of the 7th stage of inner force meant. He immediately let go of Jing Xiaokuan. Xiao Chen walked over and patted Jing Xiaokuan's shoulder. Are you okay? I'm fine. Jing Xiaokuan was very grateful. He didn't expect White Fox to stand up for him again. Joking? If there's nothing else, I'm leaving. Xiao Chen pushed Ouyang Tang aside and then walked to the door with Jing Xiaokuan. White Fox, see you in the arena tomorrow. Li Shaning said coldly. Then, he waved his hand and revealed his strength as a martial artist at the 7th stage of inner force. Xiao Chen looked at him. He didn't know where this guy got his courage from. Challenging the peak of the 7th stage of inner force? Was this a heavyweight? Where did his confidence come from? Without saying much, Xiao Chen left with Jing Xiaokuan and Yi Xiaoye and returned to the private room next door. At this time, the dishes were placed on the table. When Xiao Chen left, Ouyang Tang let out a sigh of relief. He was so scared just now that he almost peed his pants. Peak of the 7th stage of inner force. He couldn't help but worry. Brother Ing, that guy is actually at the peak of the 7th stage of inner force. Are you confident tomorrow? If you can't, then forget it. Ouyang Tang was also trying to provoke him. He deliberately said this to see Li Shannying's attitude. He's at the peak of the 7th stage of inner force today. I'm not sure tomorrow. Li Shannying sneered. There was a reason why he was so sure. He didn't dare to fight here today because he wasn't confident. But tomorrow would be different. The colorful Li family had a high status in the Zhenwu family. In this generation of the colorful Li family, someone had already become the vice president of the secular World Warrior Guild. The third generation of the Li family was likely to become the president of the Warrior Guild in the next few decades. This was because the Li family had already started to make arrangements, including Li Shandiao. He was trained to be the successor since he was young, but Li Shandiao was a little rebellious and went out to play racing. However, the Li family wasn't worried. After all, a martial artist's life was very long. They let Li Shandiao play for a while, and when he got bored, he would go home. Who would have thought that Li Shandiao's car would fall off a cliff and shatter into pieces? Even a martial artist at the peak of the 4th stage of inner force would not be able to survive in such a situation. The Li family had no choice but to start training Li Shannying. Compared to Li Shandiao, Li Shannying yearned for the power of the warrior guild more. He knew that the eldest son of the Li family, Li Shandiao, could do whatever he wanted. However, he wasn't. There were other disciples in the Li family. If he didn't do well, the Li family could replace him. So he had to do his best to prepare for his rise. It was said that the Li family was also in contact with the other side to see if they could let him take over the engagement directly. Chapter 349. Secretly, Li Shannying also began to frequently contact some of the prominent disciples. Leng Youxiang was one of them. Although the Li family was a righteous sect, after they entered the warrior guild, they were a little mixed between good and evil. After all, the warrior guild did not discriminate against demonic cultivators. Therefore, in order to ensure their position, Li Shannying looked for Leng Youxiang. The two of them hit it off immediately. Having the same enemy made it easy for two people to share a common enemy. When they talked about the White Fox hero, Li Shannying successfully built a relationship with him. After all, the two of them had a bright future. This kind of identity was easy for the two of them to accept each other. Although Leng Youxiang could also challenge Shao Qin tomorrow, both of them were demon sect disciples, so it was a little unjustifiable. Although it was not a big problem, the final result of the summit would not be affected by who won or lost. Therefore, unless it was absolutely necessary, Leng Youxiang did not want to challenge himself. Now that Li Shannying was here, he was happy to let Li Shannying do it for him. Although he could not see Shao Chen's true strength because Shao Chen did not make a move, he could tell that Shao Chen was at least stage 6 or stage 7 inner force from the fact that Shao Chen was able to withstand his frigid wrath. And he also revealed a piece of information to Li Shannying. That was, no matter what Shao Chen's current strength was, as long as 3/4 after tonight, then Shao Chen's strength would plummet the next day, and his mental state wouldn't be good. As long as the frigid wrath was released, Shao Chen would definitely be tortured and his strength would be greatly reduced. Therefore, Li Shannying wisely chose to retreat today. Tomorrow, he would get back at him with interest. What do you mean? Ouyang Tang was stunned. Nothing. Just watch the show tomorrow, Li Shannying said calmly. Let's eat. Oh, okay. Ouyang Tang shouted. Waiter, change a private room for me. Although these people did not dare to provoke Shao Chen, the waiter did not dare to offend them either. He quickly changed a private room for them. Shao Chen, Yi Xiaoya, and Jing Xiaokuan ate something quickly and went back. The previous incident had affected Shao Chen's mood. Li Shannying did not fight back, so he had no reason to kill him. He wanted to see if he could challenge him tomorrow and get rid of this trouble. He was not afraid of Chao Yuliang. Right now, he had the thought of leading a monkey behind the scenes. There was a mastermind behind Chao Yuliang, but there was nothing behind Li Shannying. The reason why Xiao Chen kept Xiao Yuliang alive was because he wanted to lure the mastermind out. Although he could interrogate him directly, that way, the mastermind would be alerted and hide the truth or deny it. Xiao Chen would not be able to do anything about it. As for Li Shanying, Xiao Chen and Li Shanying became enemies because of Li Shanying. Therefore, in order to continue to cause trouble for Li Shanying, Xiao Chen would directly get rid of him at this summit. Jing Xiaokuan, if you have nothing else to do, don't show up at the summit again. They can't deal with me, but they can deal with you. Xiao Chen reminded him. He did not want anything to happen to Jing Xiaokuan. This classmate was still very good. At least, Jing Xiaokuan was an upright person. He obviously liked Tang Tang, but when Tang Tang was with him, she only had blessings, no hatred, and no sabotage, which meant that Jing Xiaokuan was a worthy person. I got it. Jing Xiaokuan replied simply. At this moment, he could see that it was indeed very dangerous for him to stay here. It was too easy for these people to kill him. Therefore, after sending Xiao Chen and Yi Xiaoye to the door of Zhang's house, Jing Xiaokuan drove away. Why do I feel that you are a little concerned about Jing Xiaokuan? Is there something wrong with your sexual orientation? Yi Xiaoye was a little puzzled. Your thoughts are really special. I just think that this person is not bad. We use his martial arts school, but we are being targeted. It's really a bit wrong. There is only strength in the world of martial artists. Yi Xiaoye said, you are really a rookie who just started your career. They returned to the room, and nothing special happened. Yi Xiaoye lay down and rested. Xiao Chen took out his mobile phone and saw that there was a missed call. It was actually from Miss Cheng. Xiao Chen remembered that his mobile phone was set to silent mode, but it was not appropriate to call her directly in front of Yi Xiaoye, so he sent a message, Miss Cheng, I have something to do tonight, so I won't go back. It was too noisy just now, so I didn't hear the phone call. Oh, I was wondering why you didn't answer it. You don't need to come back. Jing Xian is here, and she is accompanying me. Cheng Menjing's text message came back quickly. Jing Xian is there? Why is she going today? Xiao Chen was stunned. Shin Jingxian should have just left from the summit. Why didn't she go home but went to Miss Cheng's place? Right, the Shin family found a new fiancé for her. She invited me to go with her tomorrow to check it out for her. Cheng Menjing replied. Pfft. Xiao Chen almost threw his mobile phone. What is Goddess Shin playing at? If I bring Miss Cheng here tomorrow, what if she recognizes me? He didn't know that Shin Jingxian was also afraid that one day she would be exposed, so she wanted to give Miss Cheng a heads up in advance. Anyway, it wasn't her fault that she didn't recognize him. She was just comforting herself. Really? Then I don't have a chance. I'm so sad. Xiao Chen could only reply like this. Otherwise, what else could he say? Don't let Miss Cheng go? What was the reason? Cheng Menjing took the mobile phone and showed it to Shin Jingxian next to her. Look, Xiao Chen still has a crush on you. How is it possible? How can you believe his nonsense? Shin Jingshuan's heart tightened, and she smiled. Right, Jingxian, there is something I heard, but I haven't asked you. Cheng Menjing put away her mobile phone and said with a solemn expression, I heard that before Chen Jinpeng died, Shin Jingxian tried hard to make herself look sad, but her heart was full of happiness and sweetness. How could she be sad? Ah. Cheng Menjing carefully looked at Shin Jingshuan's reaction and found that she didn't have obvious emotional changes, so she said, what does it feel like? I heard that, it will make people want to die. Is that true? Won't you know if you try it yourself? Your fiancé doesn't live with you every day. If you want to know, there are plenty of opportunities. Shin Jingxian said with a red face. Yeah, Jingxian, you are blushing. It must be very comfortable, right? Cheng Menjing looked at Shin Jingxian curiously. Just say it. Aya, what is there to say? Shin Jingxian said, in fact, it's nothing. I was in a daze at the time. I didn't feel much, of course, Shen Jingxian lied. In fact, she was still conscious, but how could she tell Qing Menjing about such a shameful thing? Oh. Qing Menjing was a little disappointed. Then, are you satisfied with your current fiancé? AI, there is nothing to be satisfied about. This person, I heard that he is a very powerful martial artist. I am now a broken flower. At best, I am a mistress and a concubine. It is not official. However, in my situation, I can bring some benefits to the Shen family. Shen Jingxian said helplessly. If that's the case, then you might as well marry Xiao Chen. It can be considered as fulfilling that guy's dream. Qing Menjing said. N? Shen Jingxian was stunned, and her heart skipped a beat. I'm kidding. Don't be nervous. Qing Menjing smiled and said, I mean, Xiao Chen has been pursuing you. I am afraid he really likes you. In fact, when I think about it, Xiao Chen is also quite pitiful. He was expelled from the family, and then he has to compromise with me. Pitiful? Shen Jingxian thought in her heart, those who were trampled to death by him are the pitiful ones. Xiao Chen is living a comfortable life now. I think he is enjoying living here with you, right? You are his fiancé. Forget it. Let's not talk about this. Qing Menjing also had some headaches about the relationship with Xiao Chen. She also understood her father's hint, but can it really be done? She was a little confused. To be honest, after getting along for a period of time, Qing Menjing didn't hate Xiao Chen as much as before. She felt that he was a good person, but the key problem was that he didn't like her at all. Humph. If you don't like me, then don't like me. I don't like you either. I have many pursuers, such as Lu Zhenming, such as Chao Yuliang. You are just blind. Menjing. Shen Jingxian suddenly said. N? What? Qing Menjing came back to her senses and asked. Do you remember that when we lived in your house, we talked about it? If you and Xiao Chen got married, and he kept pursuing me, what should I do? Shen Jingxian pretended to recall and asked. Oh, I remember it. I said that he should pursue me. If he is capable, he can get you back as a concubine. I will also have a bestie. Qing Menjing smiled indifferently. Really? Are you so generous? Shen Jingshuan's breath stagnated, and she was a little nervous. Can you really let him pursue you? Qing Menjing smiled. He. Shen Jingshuan's smile was a little unnatural. AI, previously, when I had a fiancé, you didn't. I was quite envious of you. I thought that you would definitely find an excellent man in the future, but I didn't expect that you actually came to this step today, Qing Menjing said with some sympathy. Qin Jinpeng is really not a good thing. He still wants to harm you before he dies. It's nothing. It's fine as long as you think it through. Shen Jingxian said weakly. Now. I feel that I'm quite good. Xiao Chen isn't as bad as I thought, Qing Menjing said. In the blink of an eye, things remain the same, but the people have changed. Everything has changed, yeah, I also feel that. Xiao Chen is completely different from before. Shen Jingxian felt that she and Qing Menjing could no longer speak freely without reservation like before. And, this guy really knows how to disguise. Qing Menjing nodded. Although there were a lot of topics between bestie, the two also chatted until late at night. However, every time Shen Jingxian opened her mouth, she had to think about it first. This kind of small talk made her exhausted. On the other hand, Qing Menjing looked relaxed. Chapter 350. Yi Xiaoya quickly entered the state of cultivation. She silently meditated on the bed. As for Xiao Chen, because he didn't take any medicine today, he felt that he was too cute, so he simply went to sleep. Time passed, minute by minute, second by second. The Zheng family's courtyard became quiet. The trial takers were all preparing for tomorrow's challenge. They were all conserving their energy, but there were two people who were excited. In Leng Youxiang's room, Li Shaning was also there. The two of them were drinking to their heart's content. Martial artists were not afraid of alcohol, and both of them were experts. Therefore, after Li Shaning returned from the hotel, he found a random roadside shop and bought some cooked food like duck neck king and some beer. While the two of them were celebrating their alliance, they were also quietly waiting for the arrival of the 2:45 in the morning. "Hey, are you okay?" Yi Xiaoye went to bed and turned off the light. She glanced at Xiao Chen and asked, "What can be wrong? Why do you always hope that something will happen to me?" Xiao Chen said with some depression, "I'm fine." "Well, then I'm going to cultivate." "What about you?" Yi Xiaoye confirmed that Xiao Chen was fine, so she said, "I'm going to sleep." Xiao Chen said, "Cultivation doesn't matter for a while. It's useless to cram at the last minute. You are clearly being lazy. Cultivation is like rowing a boat against the current. If you don't move forward, you will fall back. How can you relax because of tomorrow's challenge? I really don't know where your strength comes from." Yi Xiaoye said with dissatisfaction. "I can cultivate in my sleep." Xiao Chen said, "Okay, if there's nothing else, I'm going to sleep." As he said this, Xiao Chen pulled the quilt and covered him. "Hey, you're a strange person. You even wear a mask when you sleep? Don't you feel uncomfortable? It's fine if you wear a mask when you eat and drink, but you still wear it when you sleep? Are you so ashamed to see people?" Yi Xiaoye really didn't understand what Xiao Chen meant by doing this. Although the mask also had a mouth, it wasn't convenient to eat or drink. Of course, Yi Xiaoye tolerated it. "But you sleep with a mask on, aren't you tired? Everyone has their own secrets." Xiao Chen said, "Well, it's good that you know I'm your partner, White Fox." "All right." Yi Xiaoye nodded. Xiao Chen was right. Everyone had their own secrets. There was no need for her to investigate. Even now, there were many things that she had not told Xiao Chen. Yi Xiaoye quickly entered the state of cultivation. She silently meditated on the bed. As for Xiao Chen, because he didn't take his medicine today, he felt that he was too cute, so he directly fell asleep. Time passed, minute by minute, second by second. The Zheng family's courtyard became quiet. The trial takers were all preparing for tomorrow's challenge. They were all conserving their energy, but there were two people who were excited. In Leng Youxiang's room, Li Shaning was also there. The two of them were drinking to their heart's content. Martial artists were not afraid of alcohol, and both of them were experts. Therefore, after Li Shaning returned from the hotel, he found a random roadside shop and bought some cooked food like duck neck king and some beer. While the two of them were celebrating their alliance, they were also quietly waiting for the arrival of the 2:45 in the morning. Cheers. Li Shaning was very happy. On one hand, he could rope in Ouyang Tang. On the other hand, he could use the opportunity to kill White Fox to form a relationship with Leng Youxiang. He was the president of the Future Warrior Guild. Like the demon sect master, they were both people who stood at the peak of martial arts. The two of them supported each other and improved together. Maybe they would reach the top together, 1:15. Xiao Chen was sleeping soundly. All of a sudden, he felt as if he had fallen into an ice cellar. In his dream, he was hugging Miss Su on his left and Shen Jingxian on his right. Tang Tang was massaging his back from behind, and Jean Bebe was ****ing him. What kind of weird dream was this? However, when Xiao Chen was having a good time, he suddenly felt as if a bucket of cold water had fallen on him. He felt like he was being challenged by an ice bucket. Yi Xiaoye was cultivating when she suddenly felt a bone-chilling cold energy spreading in the room. She was startled. "Someone's here to attack us?" she thought. It didn't seem like it. No one came. What was that? Yi Xiaoye looked in the direction of Xiao Chen. With the bright moonlight outside the window, Yi Xiaoye saw that Xiao Chen's quilt was emitting a ghastly chill. What happened to White Fox? Yi Xiaoye was shocked. She suddenly thought of something. She thought of Lang Youxiang's wrath of frigid Yin. It was said that those who were affected by the wrath of frigid Yin would be attacked at 1:45 in the middle of the night. They would be trapped in an iceberg and couldn't get out of it. In less severe cases, they would be tortured to death and their strength would be greatly reduced. In more severe cases, they might even die directly. White Fox. Yi Xiaoye jumped out of bed in a hurry and came to Xiao Chen's bed. However, the aggressive chill made her shiver involuntarily. It was too cold. Yi Xiaoye could guarantee that the temperature in the room was over -20°C. Around Xiao Chen, the temperature should be approaching -30°C. Xiao Chen was so cold that his teeth were chattering. He had already woken up from his sleep. However, he was so cold that he couldn't speak. His whole body was numb as if he was frozen. He couldn't open his eyes, his mouth, and his body couldn't turn around. Yi Xiaoye was shocked when she saw Xiao Chen's condition. She lifted the quilt on him and suddenly realized that the quilt had been frozen like a popsicle. She didn't know where the water vapor came from, but the quilt was wet and hard. Yi Xiaoye opened a lid and the quilt fell to the ground with a "pa" sound. It was as if something hard had fallen on the ground. "Hey, White Fox, are you okay? Don't scare me, okay?" Yi Xiaoye turned pale with fright. She was very worried. Putting aside the fact that she and White Fox had developed a tacit understanding and their friendship was deep, White Fox was completely affected by Yi Xiaoye. Lang Youxiang was targeting Yi Xiaoye, and White Fox was an innocent victim. Xiao Chen felt like he was about to freeze to death. His mind was already numb. He understood that the cold Yin devil qi that Lang Youxiang had injected into his body was starting to act up. He didn't pay much attention to it before, but who would have thought that it would be so overbearing when it acted up? Seeing that Xiao Chen's body was becoming more and more stiff, Yi Xiaoye was a little anxious. She was standing at the side. She couldn't even withstand the cold Yin devil qi that Xiao Chen was releasing, let alone Xiao Chen himself. Even if he didn't die, he would be frozen into a cripple. Yi Xiaoye was immediately at a loss. She wasn't an alchemist, so she didn't know how to resolve the cold Yin devil qi in Xiao Chen's body. She even wanted to beg Lang Youxiang, but she knew that it was impossible. Lang Youxiang wanted this to happen. If he could let Xiao Chen go, then he wouldn't have used such a vicious move. What to do, what to do? Yi Xiaoye was anxious. She touched Xiao Chen's body temperature, which was getting colder. It was already -40 to 50 degrees Celsius. If this continued, how could he endure it? Thinking of this, Yi Xiaoye had no other choice. She could only make a desperate attempt. She was a fire attribute devil cultivator. She circulated her mantra, wanting to use the heat from her mantra to alleviate Xiao Chen's current condition. Yi Xiaoye used all her strength to circulate the mantra, but the effect was minimal. After all, she was only standing beside Xiao Chen. The heat from her body was dissipating too quickly. Before it could be transferred to Xiao Chen, it had already dissipated. This wasn't a solution. Because Yi Xiaoye realized that she couldn't even soften Xiao Chen's clothes. This was because a layer of ice had already formed on Xiao Chen's clothes. She didn't know where the water vapor came from, but it was probably from Xiao Chen's body. Yi Xiaoye had no other choice. She gritted her teeth and directly climbed onto Xiao Chen's bed, lying beside Xiao Chen. Although it was inappropriate for men and women to touch each other, she had no other choice. Saving people was more important, so how could she care so much? Moreover, the two of them were still wearing clothes. Yi Xiaoye tried her best to let her back lean against Xiao Chen's back. She circulated her mantra again, but after a moment, Yi Xiaoye sadly discovered that it was completely useless. The heat from her body hadn't been transmitted to Xiao Chen's body. It had already been absorbed by the layer of ice on his clothes. It couldn't be transmitted. Not only that, Yi Xiaoye's clothes were also frozen by the cold air from Xiao Chen's side. It looked like it was about to freeze. Could it be that I have to take off my clothes? Yi Xiaoye really didn't want to do that. Firstly, she wasn't that familiar with the man named White Fox in front of her. Secondly, she was also engaged. She was the devil's sex-sacred lady. How could she lose her chastity in advance? However, another voice kept urging in Yi Xiaoya's ear. He's like this because of you. You actually didn't save him and hesitated. Are you going to bite the hand that feeds you? Forget it. Anyway, I'm just taking off Xiao Chen's clothes, not taking off my own clothes. Moreover, the two of us have no other relationship. I'm just saving him. I'm innocent. Thinking of this, Yi Xiaoya gritted her teeth. She exerted force and tore off all the clothes and pants on Xiao Chen's body. Because these clothes had frozen stiff, it was impossible to take them off. She could only use force. However, Yi Xiaoya wanted to keep Xiao Chen's underwear. Who would have thought that with such force, with a rip, Xiao Chen's underwear was also brought down? Because the underwear and pants had frozen and stuck together, it couldn't be separated at all. Yi Xiaoya was suddenly stunned. However, she was only stunned for a moment. It was impossible for her to let Xiao Chen wear it back. Firstly, there was no time. Secondly, she couldn't wear it back at all. Besides, it was dark at night. She couldn't see clearly. Yi Xiaoya gritted her teeth and hugged Xiao Chen from behind. She began to continue to circulate the mantra. Cold air surged out from Xiao Chen's body. The cold air entered Yi Xiaoya's body through her clothes. Yi Xiaoya sadly discovered that the heat in her body was dissipating very quickly. Chapter 351. It almost didn't penetrate Xiao Chen's clothes before it was blocked by the cold air that stuck to his clothes. No matter what barrier there was between the two of them, it would become a nightmare for heat transfer. There was no other reason. Xiao Chen's body was emitting water vapor. In this way, the cotton things in the middle would absorb the water vapor and then freeze. Yi Xiaoya's heat had to melt these layers of ice again and again, and then these layers of ice would freeze again and again. This made Yi Xiaoya feel like crying. It took her so much effort to melt the ice on her clothes, but it was immediately frozen by Xiao Chen. Damn White Fox, can't you wait for a while before emitting the cold air? Yi Xiaoya was furious, but she also knew that this couldn't be blamed on Xiao Chen at all. This was because this was the side effect of the cold enrich. Seeing that Xiao Chen was frozen stiff, it was estimated that he would freeze to death after a long time. Yi Xiaoya gritted her teeth and planned to take off her clothes. However, just as she was about to undo the buttons, she was shocked to find that the buttons of her clothes couldn't be undone at all. They were frozen together and couldn't be moved. Yi Xiaoya was speechless. If she knew this would happen, she wouldn't have thought so much and just took off her clothes to help Xiao Chen warm up. Now, she couldn't even take off her clothes. She could only forcefully pull them down. Just like Xiao Chen's clothes previously, they were directly torn apart and thrown on the ground. In the end, Yi Xiaoya became naked all of a sudden. She usually didn't like to wear a bra, so she could only use a tube top. In the end, the tube top and the previous clothes were stuck together, and they were pulled down together. Yi Xiaoya's eyes widened. She hesitated for a long time, but when she saw Xiao Chen's painful expression, she couldn't bear to give up just like that. So, she gritted her teeth and ignored everything else. She hugged Xiao Chen's body and stuck close to him. Although Xiao Chen could not speak, he was actually awake. His divine sense perception was also normal. It was just that his body was frozen stiff and unable to move, so when Yi Xiaoya came close to him, he could not react even if he wanted to. In fact, Xiao Chen wanted to stop Yi Xiaoya's actions. After all, if she did that, he would be entangled with Yi Xiaoya in the future. How could he face it? He felt that he should be able to cope with it. Although the cold in his body was threatening, Xiao Chen could still withstand it. He had only lost the ability to move, but not to the extent of losing his life. However, Yi Xiaoya was already closing in on him. Although it was incomparably cold, Xiao Chen was still very excited when he felt the softness behind him. Yi Xiaoya didn't have the mood to think about such trivial matters. She circulated her mental cultivation method incantation and began to continuously transmit the fiery demonic aura produced by her body into Xiao Chen's body. This time, without the obstruction of clothes, Yi Xiaoya's fiery demonic aura directly entered Xiao Chen's body through Xiao Chen's acupoints. Under the guidance of Xiao Chen's body's yuan qi, it rapidly converged with the cold demonic aura and tangled together. Hence, there were two types of demonic aura mixed in Xiao Chen's body. Under the guidance of yuan qi, they flowed everywhere. As for the remaining bit of demonic aura, it vanished into thin air under the impact of these three massive auras. As Yi Xiaoya constantly circulated her mental cultivation method incantation, the fiery demonic aura in Xiao Chen's body increased. Although Yi Xiaoya's strength was inferior to Leng Youxiang's and her demonic aura was clearly weaker than Leng Youxiang's demonic aura, it couldn't withstand the massive amount. In a short while, Yi Xiaoya's fiery demonic aura had actually become twice as strong as the cold demonic aura. Hence, the two types of demonic aura, one hot and one cold, became almost equal. They rapidly circulated in Xiao Chen's meridians, passed through his dantian, and then flowed back to the meridians in his body, repeating the cycle. However, what nearly caused Xiao Chen to collapse was that even though he had enough fiery demonic aura in his body, Yi Xiaoya was still sending it over endlessly. Was she trying to kill him? He had just gotten rid of the cold demonic aura, and now there was the fiery demonic aura. The cold demonic aura would at most freeze him into a block of ice, but wouldn't the fiery demonic aura burn him? However, Xiao Chen was currently fighting with the two types of demonic aura. His body had not thawed yet, so he couldn't speak. He could only endure it bitterly. After all, if he didn't get rid of the cold demonic aura, he would still shiver. Forget it. Xiao Chen thought that at most, he would get Leng Youxiang to give him more of the cold demonic aura tomorrow and then neutralize it. Right now, he had to solve the problem in front of him first. After about 3 hours of fusion, Xiao Chen felt that the cold demonic aura and the fiery demonic aura in his body had merged together. Then, they gradually turned into his yuan qi and were absorbed by his dantian. He didn't know if it would be beneficial to his leveling up and solidifying his strength, but it could be considered as temporarily resolving the crisis in front of him. I don't need to send any more demonic aura, Xiao Chen said. He realized that the fiery demonic aura in his body was increasing. It was even greater than the amount of cold demonic aura from before. Ah! Yi Xiaoya was shocked. She wanted to get up, but she realized that she wasn't wearing anything, so she lay down again. She only slightly pulled away from Xiao Chen and said, Don't turn around. Okay. Xiao Chen quickly replied. In fact, he really wanted to turn around and look at Yi Xiaoya or hug her. However, Xiao Chen was also very rational. If he got involved with the demon sect Saintus, he would be in big trouble. Now that his father had disappeared, he didn't know where he went, and he didn't know why the people behind the scenes wanted to deal with him. If he caused trouble for him, wouldn't he be looking for trouble? What's more, Yi Xiaoya saved him. How could he repay her kindness with ingratitude? Therefore, Xiao Chen decisively did not turn around. Yi Xiaoya was relieved. She quickly got up and returned to her own bed. Then, she pulled the quilt on her body and wrapped her whole body. Then, she said, Okay, White Fox, are you okay? I'm fine. Xiao Chen said, Xiaoya, thank you. She didn't think much about calling her Xiaoya. After all, her surname was Yi. No need. We are partners. If I am in danger, you will definitely sacrifice yourself to save me, right? Xiao Chen breathed a sigh of relief. He was most afraid that Yi Xiaoya would have a psychological burden. At that time, she would ignore him or ask him to be responsible. But now it seemed that Yi Xiaoya was not like that. I'm fine. Not only that, I feel that the demonic aura seems to have turned into my own demonic aura. I feel that I am about to break through. I have already touched the edge. You are going to break through again? You can break through like this? Can the demonic aura be turned into your own? Really? Yi Xiaoye was a little shocked. Can you not be angry at me? I thought I was a genius. I didn't expect your speed of leveling up to be like a rocket. But tomorrow, I will face Leng Youxiang. It will be another fierce battle. I don't know if I can beat him. Xiao Chen saw Leng Youxiang's power and was finally a little worried. When the time comes, you can just refuse the challenge. Anyway, we are all from the demonic sections. There is no face. Yi Xiaoye said, right, you are not allowed to tell others about what happened just now. Also, you have to quickly forget about it. Okay. Xiao Chen nodded. Don't worry, I won't talk about it. I'm going to cultivate. You can sleep by yourself. Yi Xiaoye had previously transferred demonic aura to Xiao Chen. She had used up a lot of energy. She needed to recover, otherwise, her condition tomorrow would not be good. Xiao Chen laid on the bed for a while. The sky was bright and he couldn't sleep anymore. He wanted to get up but suddenly remembered that he was not wearing any clothes. Thinking of this, Xiao Chen looked down and saw the two people's torn clothes on the ground. He suddenly did not know whether to laugh or cry. This. How do I get out? Xiao Chen was about to ask Yi Xiaoye what to do when suddenly there was a knock on the door. Who is it? Xiao Chen picked up the torn clothes on the ground and covered his body. Then, he walked to the door and asked. Brother White Fox, it's me, Shen Jingmao. I brought you some breakfast. Shen Jingmao's voice came from the door. Oh, it's Jingmao. Xiao Chen glanced at Yi Xiaoye, who was a little nervous under the quilt. So, he opened the door slightly and took the breakfast that Shen Jingmao handed in. Then, he thought about it and said, Jingmao, do me a favor. Help me buy 2 sets of clothes. Buy clothes? Okay, what kind of clothes? Shen Jingmao asked curiously. Xiao Chen picked up Yi Xiaoye's clothes on the ground and looked at the sizes one by one. Then, he told Shen Jingmao the size of his clothes and Yi Xiaoye's clothes. That's it, a man and a woman. Okay. Then, Big Brother White Fox, wait for me. Shen Jingmao nodded and left. You let your girlfriend's brother buy clothes for me? What are you thinking? When Shen Jingmao left, Yi Xiaoye suddenly said angrily. Previously, in front of Shen Jingmao, she couldn't say it. This. Xiao Chen was stunned and smiled bitterly. He didn't think so much before. It was impossible to call Shen Jingmao back at this time, and Xiao Chen didn't have Shen Jingmao's phone number. Besides, even if he called back, what could he say? Say don't tell your sister? Shen Jingmao looked at the pieces of clothes in Xiao Chen's hands. He thought to himself, brother-in-law is really crazy. He broke the clothes just once. But, should I tell my sister? After thinking for a long time, Shen Jingmao decided to tell his sister. After all, he was on the same side as his sister. He must let his sister know about the White Fox hero's movements. Otherwise, how could his sister fight for his favor? Thinking of this, Shen Jingmao dialed his sister, Shen Jingshuan's phone number. Jingmao. Why are you calling me so early in the morning? Shen Jingxian talked so much with Qing Menjing last night. She was in a daze and wanted to sleep a little longer. Anyway, it was the weekend. She didn't expect Shen Jingmao's call. Chapter 352. Sister. Brother White Fox and the female demonic cultivator were quite crazy yesterday. Shen Jingmao said. What's crazy? Shen Jingxian was stunned. That is, they tore each other's clothes, then Brother White Fox asked me to buy clothes for them. Shen Jingmao said. What? Shen Jingxian was stunned. Xiao Chen, didn't he say that there was nothing going on between him and his partner? Why did the two of them tear their clothes? Shen Jingxian didn't need to think to know what would happen if they tore their clothes. Didn't she and Xiao Chen tear their clothes too? Shen Jingxian instantly felt wronged. It's fine if you fooled around outside, but you can't lie to me, right? Yesterday you said there was nothing going on, but today you tore your clothes? Who would believe that? If Shin Jingmao hadn't been of one mind with her and called to inform her, she would still have been kept in the dark. Sister, how's the progress between you and Brother White Fox? Don't lose to others. Shin Jingmao didn't see Shin Jingshuan's expression, and he even reminded her. Oh, okay, I got it. Shin Jingxian didn't want to show anything in front of her brother. Alright, I'll go buy clothes. Shin Jingmao thought it was good that his sister knew what to do, so he went to buy clothes. Shin Jingxian picked up her phone and sent a message to Xiao Chen. Who are you in the same room with? Xiao Chen looked at Shin Jingshuan's message and couldn't help but smile bitterly. He replied, it's Yi Xiaoya, you know her too. There's nothing going on between us, but there was an accident yesterday, Yi Xiaoya? You're really good. Shin Jingxian looked at the message and almost smashed her phone. It's actually Yi Xiaoya. If it was someone else, she might be suspicious, but Yi Xiaoya lived in the same villa with Xiao Chen every day. Since Xiao Chen could fool around with her behind Xing Menjing's back, he could also fool around with Yi Xiaoya secretly. If I don't do it with you, you'll find someone else, right? Xiao Chen, fine, then go find her. Don't look for me forever. Shin Jingxian was angry that she was cheated. She sent this message and turned off her phone. Xiao Chen, on the other hand, was shocked. He thought to himself that this was a huge misunderstanding. He quickly called Shin Jingshuan's phone, but the phone was turned off. Xiao Chen felt very helpless. Yi Xiaoya looked at Xiao Chen, who was a little anxious. She picked up the phone and put it down. She was a little amused. However, it had nothing to do with me. At most, it would be a misunderstanding, but Xiao Chen's trouble would be huge. Your girlfriend isn't picking up the phone, right? Yi Xiaoya said with a gloating tone. What are you so happy about? Be careful that I don't rely on you. My girlfriend is gone, and I'll take you as my girlfriend. Xiao Chen said, speaking of which, your figure is quite good. I didn't notice it usually. If you're not afraid of being chased by the demon gate, then do whatever you want. Yi Xiaoya rolled her eyes at Xiao Chen. I really don't know what you men are thinking. I'm saving you, and you're still talking about that. I'm just kidding. Xiao Chen said, my girlfriend is fine. I'll explain it later. Shin Jingxian put down the phone and glanced at Xing Menjing, who was sleeping beside her. She couldn't help but sigh. Tears slid down her delicate and beautiful face. She didn't expect Xiao Chen to be like this. Then, did he do it with Yi Xiaoya before? Then, he told me that it was his first time. Was he lying to me? Shin Jingxian felt that Xiao Chen was lying to her, which made her very uncomfortable. Jingxian, why are you crying? Xing Menjing heard movement beside her and woke up in a daze. When Shin Jingxian was talking on the phone, she was still a little confused. Now she was completely awake. Seeing Shin Jingxian crying, Xing Menjing suddenly became energetic. She immediately asked with concern, You? Are you still concerned about that matter? It's nothing. I just had a scary dream. I dreamed that my boyfriend betrayed me. Shin Jingxian shook her head. Your current boyfriend? Xing Menjing was stunned. Yeah, anyway, he just treats me as an ordinary lover, so it's not really a betrayal. Shin Jingxian said in a self-deprecating manner. Sure enough, men would become fickle when they had strength, and they would even lie. Originally, Shin Jingxian thought that Xiao Chen was different. Even if he was fickle, at least he wouldn't lie to her. But now it seemed that it was the same. He even said that he had a crush on her for many years. Is this how you treat a goddess? Don't talk about F*King until you vomit, F*King once and you change your mind. Shin Jingxian found that she was a bit like a resentful woman. Jingxian, you are not bad. Even if, it's not that, but you are beautiful. Such a beautiful girl, anyone will be moved. Xing Menjing comforted, otherwise, Why do you think Xiaochen doesn't like me but likes you? You are more charming. Don't mention that guy. Shen Jingxian said angrily, only to find that her mood seemed to be wrong, so she quickly explained, I don't want to mention any man now, okay. Qing Menjing said, since you are up, let's have some breakfast. Aren't we going to see your man in the evening? I don't want to see him. Shen Jingxian said. Miss Qing smiled. On Xiao Chen's side, Shen Jingmao quickly bought clothes and came back. Although there were not many shopping malls that opened early in the morning, Shen Jingmao obviously had his way. He gave the clothes to Xiao Chen and left without asking much. Xiao Chen looked at his back and thought, this kid is really talkative. However, thinking about it, I can't blame him. He is Shen Jingshuan's younger brother. If he doesn't work with Shen Jingxian, will he help me lie to Shen Jingxian? I will put on my clothes. You turn around. Don't peek. Yi Xiaoye was already really uncomfortable. She wrapped herself in the quilt. She couldn't even walk on the ground, let alone go to the bathroom. Okay. Xiao Chen said, let's both turn around. I will also put on my clothes. Then, are you sure you want to turn around? Don't turn around and peek when I turn around. Yi Xiaoye said. Am I that bad? Xiao Chen smiled bitterly and turned around first. The two of them put on their clothes. Yi Xiaoye was afraid that Xiao Chen would see, so she turned around very quickly. On the other hand, Xiao Chen was slow. He was also afraid that Yi Xiaoye would say that he was plotting something if he was too fast. Hey, are you dressed? Yi Xiaoye asked Xiao Chen. No, but you can turn around. I have put on my pants. I am missing my shirt. Xiao Chen said. Oh. Yi Xiaoye turned around and saw that Xiao Chen was really half-dressed. She was relieved and said, I will eat first. You quickly put on your clothes. For the whole day, Xiao Chen and Yi Xiaoye didn't go out in the room. Yi Xiaoye was afraid that Xiao Chen would face Ling Youxiang and the others in advance, so she didn't let him go out. On the other hand, Shen Jingmao saw that Xiao Chen didn't go out for the whole day. He couldn't help but shake his head in disappointment. Although a martial artist's body was strong, he couldn't indulge in bed all day, especially when there was a challenge at night. What if Hero White Fox was still like this? What if he ran out of stamina? However, thinking that his father and others admired Hero White Fox so much, Shen Jingmao didn't say much, but his impression of White Fox became a little worse. In the evening, the challenge finally began. Although Shen Jingxian kept saying that she didn't want to go, she finally brought Qing Menjing to the arena. Even Shen Jingxian didn't know what kind of mentality she had. Perhaps, she wanted to see how Yi Xiaoye was stronger than her. Isn't that Yi Xiaoye? Qing Menjing was very sensitive to Yi Xiaoye. She saw Yi Xiaoye walking into the arena with White Fox. Shen Jingxian was thinking. When she heard Qing Menjing's words, she was shocked. Then, she looked up and saw Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen followed behind Yi Xiaoye. The two of them were very close to each other, but if one didn't think about it carefully, one might not think that the two of them were in the same group. After all, there were others following behind Xiao Chen. Yi Xiaoye? It really is her. However, the person behind her is my boyfriend. Shen Jingxian pointed in the direction of Xiao Chen and said. Ah. The person wearing a mask? Why does he look weird? Why is he wearing a mask? Qing Menjing noticed Xiao Chen behind Yi Xiaoye, but she was very puzzled by his appearance. In the martial arts arena, it couldn't be said that there were no masked people, but they only covered their faces with a black cloth, revealing their eyes. It was a bit strange to wear a fox mask directly. I don't know. Maybe there is some shameful secret? Shen Jingxian said, right, that Yi Xiaoye, is your relationship good? It's very bad. When Qing Menjing talked about Yi Xiaoye, she gritted her teeth. You say that she is an outsider, but she is sick. She always protects Xiao Chen. I asked Xiao Chen to cook, and I asked Xiao Chen to do this and that. Xiao Chen wasn't unhappy, but she was the first one to explode. What does it have to do with her? She is really nosy. Oh. She and Xiao Chen have a good relationship. Shen Jingshuan's heart was tight. She thought that there was really something wrong with them. If there was no problem, why would Yi Xiaoya protect Xiao Chen? When she saw Yi Xiaoya before, Shen Jingxian felt that she was a cold person. Now she actually protected Xiao Chen. If there was no problem, Shen Jingxian wouldn't believe it. Isn't it good? I was bullied by Yi Xiaoya, but Xiao Chen didn't help. Yi Xiaoya always asked Xiao Chen to follow her and not to be my servant. Qing Menjing said angrily, luckily, Beibei is here. Otherwise, would have lost every time. Xiao Chen seems to have a good relationship with Jin Beibei. Shen Jingxian asked calmly. Yes, the two of them have the same hobbies. They like to eat, they like to make money, and they like to trick people, Qing Menjing said. They only like to eat delicious food all day. I really don't know what to say. Huh? Jin Beibei likes him? Shen Jingxian was a little angry. Is Jin Beibei also related to Xiao Chen? Chapter 353. Maybe a little, maybe not. It's hard to say. You know Beibei, he's crazy all the time, Qing Menjing said. Don't talk about Xiao Chen all the time. Tell me about your boyfriend. Qing Menjing thought that Shen Jingxian was talking about her, Xiao Chen. She was embarrassed to say more, so she wanted Shen Jingxian to talk about her boyfriend. Oh, him, there's nothing to talk about. He's strong enough, and that's it. Just make do with him. If he can't, then we'll break up, Shen Jingxian said lightly. Qing Menjing was a little strange about Shen Jingshuan's attitude, but after thinking about it, she guessed that Shen Jingxian didn't really like White Fox. She was just pressured by her family, so her words were understandable. AI. Jingxian, why do I feel that you are so miserable? You are a goddess, and you should have a bit of a goddess's aura. You see, when I'm with Xiao Chen, he doesn't dare to disobey me. Qing Menjing said proudly. He. Xiao Chen. How is it the same? Shen Jingxian didn't know what to say. She was afraid that if she said too much, they wouldn't be best friends anymore. Hey, isn't that Qing Mengxiang and Xiao Xiao? Shen Jingxian turned her head and saw Qing Menjing's younger brother and Xiao Chen's younger sister. These two people were somewhat related to her. Yeah, forget about them. Qing Menjing also saw them, but her relationship with Qing Mengxiang wasn't very good. But unexpectedly, Qing Mengxiang walked over with Xiao Xiao and greeted Qing Menjing with a smile. Sister, you're here too. I thought you didn't like this kind of occasion. As the leader of the Qing family in Songming, Qing Menjing was naturally qualified to attend the summit. However, she had never cared about this kind of thing before. Qing Mengxiang glanced at Shen Jingxian beside him and nodded as a greeting. I'm here with Jingxian to see her boyfriend. What's up? Qing Menjing and Qing Mengxiang didn't know each other well. It's nothing. Qing Mengxiang shook his head. Sister Jingxian has a boyfriend so soon? Don't misunderstand, I heard a rumor earlier and was a little surprised. Why are you so annoying? Why don't you just die? Qing Menjing looked at Qing Mengxiang in disgust. Why do you have to do everything? Don't talk about Meng Chang. You're not a good person either. Are you happy that you dumped my brother? Do you also want to find a boyfriend here and hug his thigh? Xiao Xiao coldly looked at Qing Menjing and said. Xiao Xiao, no matter what, she's my sister. She's also your sister. Let's give in to her. Let's go. Qing Mengxiang was very proud that Xiao Xiao was actually speaking to him. This woman is like this. Previously, she looked reluctant and kept comparing me with Qi Zhigao. Now, knowing that there's no suspense in marrying me, she began to side with me. It seemed that after the strength of the Qing family that I showed in the past 2 days, Xiao Xiao had begun to admire me. This made Qing Mingxiang very happy. Being able to capture Xiao Xiao's heart was much better than being with a cold and emotionless beautiful girl. It's not up to you to talk about the matters between me and Xiao Chen. Qing Menjing frowned. She didn't expect Xiao Xiao to be on the same side as her brother. They were equally annoying. She didn't know how Qing Mingxiang brainwashed her. Forget it, sister. We're all on the same side. Don't quarrel because of an outsider like Xiao Chen. Xiao Xiao and I will leave first. Qing Mingxiang waved his hand and left. He sneered in his heart. Bitch, do you really think that you're the daughter of the Qing family? When I control the Qing family in the future, you're nothing. You're just a pawn for me to control Chao Yuliang. A woman really thinks that she's important? After Qing Mingxiang left, Shen Jingxian frowned slightly. That Xiao Xiao, is she speaking for Xiao Chen or Qing Mingxiang? Qing Mingxiang? Who knows? Forget about her. Qing Menjing was a little angry. Qing Mingxiang was getting more and more outrageous. He didn't care about his sister at all. Did he think that he was already the young master of the Qing family? Everyone, please be quiet. The Songning Summit is about to begin. Please take your seats. From the broadcast in the martial arts field, the preparatory sound of the summit was heard. Everyone in the field took their seats one by one. Shen Zhenghao also came. Seeing that his daughter was sitting with Qing Menjing this time, he didn't come over. He looked up and saw that Medicine Master Lu was also here. He came alone and sat quietly in the audience seat. No one recognized him. This time, Shen Zhenghao was overjoyed and walked over quickly. Old Lu, can I sit here? Shen Zhenghao asked respectfully. Oh, sit down. The seats next to Lu Fengzhen belonged to Medicine Master Chen and Hong Yan, but they were not in Songning City. But whether they were there or not, the summit's working group had to reserve seats for them. Therefore, the seats were all occupied. Shen Zhenghao only saw it clearly when he got closer. After seeing the name plate, he just asked casually. He didn't expect that Lu Fengzhen would really let him sit down. He was a little surprised, but very happy. Thank you, old Lu. Lu Fengzhen nodded and didn't say anything else. Old Lu, why are you here? Shen Zhenghao tried to find something to talk about. Oh, to see a friend participate in the challenge, Lu Fengzhen said lightly. LV Fengzhen said indifferently. He had already found out about Xiao Chen's other identity from Hongzhou, and had also found out that Xiao Chen had once been secretly in love with Shen Jingxian. Therefore, he didn't mind helping Xiao Chen build up momentum, because he also wanted to have a good relationship with Xiao Chen. He had gone back and researched for a long time, but he really couldn't understand it. How could someone die on a horse? In this kind of situation, he couldn't do it, and neither could Medicine Master Chen. Therefore, in his opinion, Xiao Chen should be a hidden master. However, there was no need to hide White Fox. If Shen Zhenghao took a fancy to White Fox, he would indirectly help Xiao Chen. I see. May I know who old Lu's friend is? Shen Zhenghao asked. He was good at currying favor. If old Lu's friend was from Songning City, he would find a way to make friends with him. Even if old Lu's friend didn't want to talk to him, he would still be polite. Oh, his name is White Fox. You may not know him, Lu Fengzhen said lightly. What? Shen Zhenghao was shocked and almost jumped out of his chair. Wasn't White Fox his son-in-law? How did he become friends with Lu Fengzhen? Lu Fengzhen looked at Shen Zhenghao strangely. He didn't understand why Shen Zhenghao had such a big reaction. I said that old Lu and I are fated. That White Fox is my daughter's boyfriend. Shen Zhenghao said with a smile. He couldn't help but sound proud. Lu Fengzhen was stunned again. He turned to look at Shen Zhenghao. You mean White Fox and your daughter? Boyfriend and girlfriend? Yes. Shen Zhenghao nodded. I didn't expect that he is also your friend, old Lu. You're one generation older than me. Lu Fengzhen suddenly laughed. Previously, he talked to Shen Zhenghao casually. He didn't want to have too much contact with him. However, after hearing about the relationship between Shen Jingxian and Xiao Qin, he suddenly became much more enthusiastic and even joked with him. I don't deserve that. Old Lu, you are a senior. In front of you, I am a junior. Moreover, I also call my daughter's boyfriend Hero White Fox. I don't dare to be disrespectful. Shen Zhenghao felt that he was going to make a fortune. How could he casually build a relationship with Lu Fengzhen? Although he also knew that Lu Fengzhen was most likely giving face to White Fox, at least he had the capital to brag when he went out. In the future, if he really needed help, he could directly ask Xiao Qin to ask Lu Fengzhen. I heard that you used your daughter as a bargaining chip to marry this person and that person? Lu Fengzhen asked. This is because I didn't meet such an outstanding young talent like Hero White Fox. Shen Zhenghao was a little embarrassed. Hee. Lu Fengzhen thought, you met him before. He pursued your daughter for several years, but you pretended not to see it. Old Lu, you and Hero White Fox. Shen Zhenghao asked carefully. He has a good relationship with my disciple. Lu Fengzhen said this and suddenly added, she is a female disciple. Oh. Shen Zhenghao was stunned, and then immediately felt that he understood. He quickly said, ahem. Hero White Fox has more than one girlfriend. There are others. It's okay. It's normal for people like old Lu to have multiple wives and concubines. I'm not married yet. Lu Fengzhen said. Puff. Ahem. Shen Zhenghao coughed twice. I'm sorry, old Lu. I was just making an example. Well, you're quite an interesting person. Lu Fengzhen nodded. If there's anything in the future, let White Fox look for me. Thank you so much. Shen Zhenghao trembled with excitement. If White Fox invited Lu Fengzhen during the Shen family's family meeting, as long as he said a few words of support for Shen Zhenghao, wouldn't there be no doubt that Shen Jingmao would be promoted? But, would he support Shen Jingmao? Even Hero White Fox might not agree with him, right? Sigh, I can only take it one step at a time. It all depends on whether my daughter is good enough. While they were chatting, the two elders from yesterday walked up to the high platform of the martial arts arena. Then, Elder Wang, who represented the righteous faction, said, now, the big screen will randomly pick the order of the two factions' challenges. All challengers, please take your positions. Now, everyone, please pay attention to the big screen. I'm going to start picking. After Elder Su finished speaking, he pressed a remote control in his hand. At this time, the big screen suddenly lit up and then split into two halves. One on the left and the other on the right, respectively, represented the qualification numbers of the righteous faction and the demonic faction. The numbers kept flashing back and forth. And the challengers in the arena held their breath at this moment. Chapter 354. Pa. The numbers on the screen stopped at challenger number 31 and 14. One of them was Ouyang Tang. Xiao Qin didn't know the other, but Yi Xiaoya obviously knew him. He was from the demon sect. The strength of these two people is about the same. It's hard to tell who will win. Yi Xiaoya said, the challenger from the demon sect is a disciple of the demon moon sect. He has some ties with our demon star sect. Although we are not familiar with him, I hope nothing happens to him. Hee. I guess he will win without a doubt, Xiao Qin said indifferently. What do you mean? Yi Xiaoya was stunned. You can tell? Both of them are challengers at the 5th stage of inner force. How can there be no suspense? Are you talking about Ouyang Tang or the demon moon sect? Of course it's the demon moon sect. Ouyang Tang will not win, Xiao Qin said. Ouyang Tang was very arrogant. He directly leaped up and landed on the martial arts platform. He pointed at the demon moon sect disciple and said, either kneel and admit defeat, or die. The demon moon sect disciple's expression changed slightly. He was also a powerful existence among the younger generation of the Demon Moon sect. How could he swallow this insult? He shouted loudly. Demonic aura surrounded his body, revealing his strength as a demonic cultivator at the 5th stage of inner force. Then let's give it a try. The Demon Moon sect disciple didn't hold back. He used his most powerful killer move, a cold moonlight kick at Ouyang Tang's chest. Ouyang Tang smiled faintly and stood still. Then, he circulated the mantra and prepared to activate his martial arts technique. On one hand, he used his inner force to protect his body. On the other hand, he pushed his hands out horizontally. He was ready to fight head-on with the Demon Moon sect disciple. The Ouyang family was good at frontal attacks. Their attack power was higher than ordinary opponents. Therefore, in Ouyang Tang's opinion, although he might be injured in such a head-on fight, the opponent would die immediately. He came with a pharmacist. As long as he won this battle, he would be famous in both the righteous and demonic sections. It would be beneficial for his future development. Even if he was injured, it was worth it. After all, there were not many opportunities to be in the limelight. But then, his expression changed. This was because he realized that there was something in his dantian that was not inner force. He didn't know what it was, but he just stood there and tried to use his inner strength, but he couldn't. His inner strength was blocked by it, and he couldn't use it at all. What was this thing? Why was there such a thing in his body? Of course, if he had operated the mental cultivation method of martial arts in advance last night and tried to use his inner strength, he would have discovered the problem. Unfortunately, he had invited Li Shanning to a banquet last night and was drunk. When he returned home, he fell asleep. How could he have had the time to practice martial arts? Of course, even if he practiced, he wouldn't be able to expel these strange things in a short period of time. As a martial artist, he had to constantly activate his martial skills and train in order to expel these strange things from his body along with his inner strength. This wasn't a job that could be done overnight, but at least he wouldn't be as passive as he was now. Ouyang Tang's expression was very ugly. He hesitated if he should beg for mercy, but this moment of hesitation had already missed a good opportunity to beg for mercy. The Demon Moon sect disciple's cold moonlight foot directly kicked Ouyang Tang's chest. Ouyang Tang couldn't use his inner strength to protect his body, nor could he activate his martial skills. He was kicked forcefully and immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. His body flew straight out of the martial arts arena and directly fell in front of the audience 30 meters away. He rolled a few times on the ground and stopped moving. Obviously, even if he didn't die, he would be a cripple. The audience in the boxing arena were all a little dumbfounded, including the 2 elders of the righteous and devil sects, as well as the 2 referees below. They were all a little dumbfounded. Even the disciples of the Devil Moon sect themselves were extremely stunned. Was there something wrong with Ouyang Tang? Not only did he not dodge, but he also did not defend or attack. He was just waiting for me to kick him down. Is there something wrong with his head? There was no need to say much about this kind of match that had no suspense at all. Hongzhu and Song Huawu both flashed the Demon Alliance victory sign. Elder Wang, who represented the righteous sects, announced, in this match, the Demon Moon sect disciple, Chen Aoran, who represents the Demon Alliance, wins. The Demon Moon sect disciple, Chen Aoran, raised his hands in confusion and accepted the applause from the audience. Then, he inexplicably left the martial arts arena and returned to his own position. Until now, he still didn't understand how he won so smoothly. Was his opponent so weak? How do you know that he will definitely win? Yi Xiaoya looked at Xiao Chen strangely. Yi Xiaoya guessed that Xiao Chen had secretly used some method. Just like in martial arts novels, some experts could help others through the air and transmit inner strength through the air. However, it seemed that even if Xiao Chen was a demonic cultivator at the peak of the 7th level of inner strength, he still couldn't do this, right? I did something yesterday. Xiao Chen lowered his voice and didn't hide anything. Yi Xiaoya had already been honest with him. Xiao Chen wouldn't hide anything if it didn't involve sensitive issues. At least, Yi Xiaoye was a reliable person. She wouldn't betray him. Otherwise, she wouldn't have made such a big sacrifice last night. That works too. Yi Xiaoye was a little speechless after hearing it. Then who do you want to kill? Just do something. It's simply killing without leaving a trace. I'll help you kill that Leng Youxiang in a while. Xiao Chen said. Don't. If you kill him, his sect won't let you go. Yi Xiaoye was shocked. If I don't kill him, he will kill me. Do you think that if I cripple him, he will let me go after he goes back? Asked Xiao Chen. Yi Xiaoye was a little silent. Indeed, even if Xiao Chen didn't kill Leng Youxiang wouldn't let Xiao Chen go. How about, just admit defeat directly? Okay, I'll ask him. If he admits defeat directly, I won't kill him. Xiao Chen nodded and said. Pfft. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about you. Yi Xiaoye was a little speechless. Speaking of which, I'm going against their sect. Will you help me or help them? Asked Xiao Chen. Yi Xiaoye pursed her lips. I'm a very principled person. Help the demon sect to deal with me? Asked Xiao Chen. Aren't you also a demon cultivator? Yi Xiaoye glared at Xiao Chen. I won't abandon my partner. It's actually not that serious. Didn't they say that it starts at the summit and ends at the summit? If I kill him, their sect will have to consider the rules of the summit if they want to take revenge, right? There's the Hong Consortium of Commerce and the Supernatural Investigation Bureau here. No matter how powerful his sect is, they won't dare to go against us openly, right? Said Xiao Chen. They won't dare to do it openly, but who can guarantee that they won't do it in the dark? You won't leave Songming City for the rest of your life? Yi Xiaoye didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Why is this person's thinking so simple? Moreover, these restrictions are only for a period of time. I guess they won't dare to do anything to you for the time being. After a while, when the news dies down, the next summit is going to be held. Who will care about the previous summit? Either you also participate in the next summit, and they will send people to take revenge on you at the next summit, or you don't participate, and they will find a chance to secretly take revenge. Oh, isn't that still a long time? Xiao Chen didn't take it to heart after hearing it. The competition continued in an orderly manner. Except for the first challenge at the beginning, which was directly decided in one move, this kind of situation almost never happened after that. Even if there was a big difference in strength, it was after a few fights, and the one who was much weaker was defeated. The winner was king, and the loser was the thief. Ouyang Tang was beaten up, and soon, people forgot about him. Ouyang Tang was also carried back to the Ouyang family that night. In such a situation, he couldn't continue to participate in the competition. However, what Xiao Chen didn't expect was that he actually received a text message from Zhu Yingxiong. Boss, wow, it must be you who did it, right? Otherwise, how could Ouyang Tang, that idiot, stand on the martial arts stage and be beaten up? Thank you so much. Sure enough, killing people invisibly has nothing to do with us at all. Xiao Chen didn't reply. Everyone knew it in their hearts, and there was no need to explain it too clearly. Only then did he remember that Zhu Yingxiong should also come with Yu Shanshan, but he didn't know if Yu Shaochuan came. Xiao Chen's guess was really right. Yu Shaochuan also came. Their Songming Yu family was a branch of the Zhenwu Yu family. Naturally, they were qualified to participate in this summit and become the audience. Everyone else came in pairs. Although Yu Shaochuan also came with Tang Tang, he and Tang Tang sat far away from each other. They weren't intimate at all, but he was very close to Yu Shanshan. Obviously, his sex change didn't affect his love for his sister, Yu Shanshan. Family love wouldn't be distorted, but his own sexual orientation was distorted. He now felt that he was Yu Shanshan's sister. As for Tang Tang, in his eyes, she was just a tool to maintain a secret. However, some words couldn't be revealed to Tang Tang. He was going to find an opportunity to tell Tang Tang to go out and have an affair, and make him wear a green hat or something. In this way, both of them would have a handle on each other, and the secret wouldn't be revealed. However, he also had to choose a good partner for this green hat. It needed to be a long-term stable woman who could bring him benefits. Otherwise, his wife would be like a bus, constantly fooling around, and it wouldn't look good for him. If he fixed one, it wouldn't be easy for the news to spread. Recently, Tang Tang had been wondering about Yu Shaochuan's attitude toward her. He was neither cold nor warm. When he came out with her, it seemed to be a formal social interaction, and he didn't talk much to her at all. This made Tang Tang feel relieved, but she was also a little puzzled. What kind of play was Yu Shaochuan playing? He spent so much effort to separate her from Xiaochen, and then he didn't say anything? Before, Tang Tang thought that Yu Shaochuan was pretending, but now it seemed that he wasn't pretending. After all, he didn't want to be close to her at all. But anyway, Yu Shaochuan was like this, so Tang Tang dared to come out with him. Otherwise, if he did something bad to her, Tang Tang would be disgusted to death. You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.